Hard not to smile.
Oh, cool. I can see what's going on. Oh, that's fucking awesome. Oh, hell yeah. Bus time. So, is it legal to remove that mirror?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I just last week before I left, I spent the morning making these officially RVs. They're officially licensed as motorhomes. So I can take everything out now. The truth is, on buses, you can't actually leave things in. Like this bus, they're painted over, the lights are.
Mm-hmm.
They still work. I can turn them on. They can flash.
Oh, that's fun.
But they don't actually flash because they're painted over. You can just kind of see it because there's some chips on it.
Okay.
The other bus, totally.
So you're not legally allowed to have that function in your car?
I'm not legally allowed to have that function.
Okay.
Or ever do it.
Anybody who has
on the road, because I'm flashing lights for safety vehicles. There is safety. I have the lights for the other one. The one that's not. It's not as far along as this one.
The yellow one.
Yeah. It totally can turn those. We can do that later. I'll show you those lights. They pop on.
Cool. Yeah. We'll
actually,
get some B-roll to edit in here.
Kind of. That one I messed up the fuel filter on last week, and drove it back from Dallas, and it probably should have exploded. It's a huge fuel leak, and I have to get a buddy over here to help me fix it next week.
Cool.
So that was not safe.
The whole fucking bus thing is crazy.
Yeah,
it's a fun adventure though. Do you have your phone? Your phone's right there.
Yeah.
What do you use your phone to wake up in the morning?
Kind of. Why? Yeah.
What's your alarm sound like?
It's a song by a guy who lives in a bus, talking about living in a bus.
It fits. You mind playing it?
All right. Let's see if I can pull it up.
Well, he does that. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us here on How Day You Do. Special guest this week, Leroy Firwood.
Sweet.
The bus dude.
I like that guy.
We are sitting in his number 2 bus. This is the big shit bus. The big number 2. This is the one after the. What kind of van was that? Was it a Mercedes?
No, I had a Ford Transit.
Transit.
2019 Ford Transit.
Well, I mistook it for one of those nice Mercedes vans.
Yeah,
it's pretty sweet.
Have you met me?
I mean, I don't know. And then you decked the shit out of that thing, and then you sold that, and then you bought this.
Yep.
The kinds of things that people are going to want to know. How much does it cost to buy a thing like this?
Like this bus right here?
Yeah.
This bus right here was $9,000, $8,900 or something like that.
Okay.
And it was a screaming deal. I can get super nerdy about buses. I bought the van. I built the van out. It's pretty basic. They're all the same. I got a cheap deal on the van at every point. Like I bought all the wood when the wood was cheap. I bought the van. It was the last one. I bought the van $15,000 less than everyone else did.
Is this real wood?
This is nice luxury vinyl plank. It's not like wood flooring.
No is the answer to that.
No.
So no.
So,
but I mean, you wouldn't necessarily want real wood, right?
No,
it flexes a little bit.
I want this kind of wood.
I like this.
It looks
cool.
super pretty.
Mm-hmm.
It goes in really easy, and then I don't have to worry about it. I can just lay everything over it. I've screwed into it a bunch of places. It's nice.
You can spill on it. Nothing really happens. Dog can come in here. It doesn't permanently scratch it. That's what. Okay, so yeah, my house has old style wood. It's like 100-year-old wood floors.
Yeah. We have that in there.
You scoot a table and you're like, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I just ruined a thing that's like an artifact almost. Okay, so I still want to hear your song here.
Okay, here's the song.
Is this a? It's a real song? Like it's from
a real
someone?
Song.
Okay,
it's done by Isaac Turner. He'll totally give you permission. He's a homie of mine, and it's called "On the Road Is My Home."
Okay. Top of the microphone.
That's why. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's nice. It's chill.
Yeah, that's good.
It's nice. It's chill. Quite frankly, I hardly use it right now.
It's pretty upbeat. So are you just waking up?
I'm just on the like that. Yeah, I don't have a day job anymore, so my domestic
I fucking flip buses. That's what
my
I do.
domestic partner wakes up at 7 to go to work.
Mhm.
She works for the state, and I'll wake up about 7, and then I'll get moving about 7:30. And then I'm out here. Like I was out here today about 8
Mhm.
with my coffee, and then I'll just work on the bus, doing whatever I need to get in front of me, whatever's in front of me that day to do
Mhm.
for probably 8 until like right now these days like 2.
Okay.
And then go to sleep or rest or get out of the sun because it's 90-some degrees at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And get ready for what I'm
Yeah, I was kind of
doing
hoping to sit in here because last week I was at Ty's house and we were both just in the sun. Our eyes are like this the whole time, and then just you can see sweat start to drip down her face. He gets to a point where he's like, "Can we just stop doing this now? I'm really hot and sweaty." I was like,
Yeah.
let's
We
just
had like this
hurry it
thing.
up."
We're in the shade till
It's great.
11 or 1 or 11 or noon, and then I'll do that, and then I'll just go and do whatever I have that evening, whether it's like call bingo or trivia or do comedy or
Mm-hmm.
set up sound for a show someplace. And that used to be just a couple days a week, and now that's all the effing time.
It's fun to be part of a production team though, because then it's like, oh shit, where am I going today?
Right.
I like that
you
adventure
asked for a
part.
couple things that you didn't have, and I was like, well, I just got a trunk full of
Yeah.
stuff that I need to take everywhere. And that's kind of what I do at Solowit. I'm responsible for all the technical stuff, like
Mhm.
all the, which you probably will chuckle at because I'm not good at that. Like I have old church pastor knowledge.
Yeah.
Which is I can get a microphone and I can get the speaker going and I can do that.
Mm-hmm. This goes to here, that goes to there.
I can turn lights on.
Should be
That's
good.
it. You come in, you bring all this stuff. I'm like, ooh, that has lights that move.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah,
gonna
there's
be my.
those little bars that go up and down.
Yeah, I can't figure that out.
Knobbies. I got some knobbies on there.
I did. You were there when I did an entire trivia set,
Oh.
screaming into the mic because it wasn't loud enough.
Mhm.
Then looked
I
at
saw
the mic.
the next thing that happened.
Yeah, I looked into the mic thing and saw that the line. It was set to line, not mic, and I pressed that button when Ty was talking to it, and it just got like infinitely louder. And I was like,
Mhm.
I could have not ruined the last 2 hours of my voice by just yelling
Yeah.
the entire time.
That was a whole fun learning experience for every one of a show.
Right.
Is what we'll call that.
That was just. They set it up and I didn't check it. I was a little behind on time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The venue does.
yeah, I went there and they're like, "Yeah, it's all set up for you. Just hit the power button." And I was like, "Are all the levels okay? Like, I don't want to hit the power button and have it go whoop or just something crazy." Which that's what happened when Ty was on it.
Yeah.
Just the crazy scream of a speaker.
Yeah, like the guys whose job is to sling beer,
Mm-hmm.
probably not the sound guy.
Yeah, just plug it in.
Yeah,
Those
the
guys.
light came on. We're good.
Yeah, it was funny being there a couple days ago, Sunday. I don't know what today is. But, yeah, I just walk into the bar and I'm like, "Hey, I'm looking to set up all the bingo stuff." And they're like, "Oh, yeah, the guy will be here soon, and we'll take care of that." And I was like, "Oh, no, I'm going to go call bingo." And they're like, "Yeah, he'll be here soon." I'm like, "I'm the guy. It's me."
That sounds.
I
like
almost
them.
wanted to come in and shake the bingo ball, the bingo
Yeah, I'd
tumbler.
be like, this is that's pretty on brand for that location.
Yeah, and then she goes, "Oh, you're not Ty."
Yeah, I won't ask any more specific questions about who it was, but I have ideas.
Yeah, they're all very nice.
They're
It's
all
great.
very nice.
I'm gonna be there tonight. It's gonna be great. I'm so excited. I love
Oh,
all
you
the
are you doing time tonight?
hmm
Nice. I'm
Mhm.
doing the actual trivia. That's a chaos.
right before.
Yeah, it's. Oh man, you want to see? You see me very relaxed pretty much every time you see me. You want to see me? You saw me last time. I'm not relaxed after that. I'm on like an edge, and I need to go take a walk because I have a very strict rule about don't be on edge around people. And you call trivia into 32 people, 32 teams, 130 people, and you got to make sure everyone's like no one's pissed off at any given point,
Mm-hmm. And everybody hears you.
and everybody hears and all that.
And it's fair.
And it takes,
Oof.
and you have to go as fast as possible.
They act like children, even though they're adults.
Yeah, you have to go as fast as possible. So at the end of 2 hours, with those, I'm just fried.
Mm-hmm.
Like I get my kid to come in and help me with it. They score, and they also have a real good knack at asking for tips.
Hell yeah.
Uh,
Oh, that's great. My
they-
daughter was there with me. She was helping with cars
Yeah.
and chips, but I can't ask for tips. I don't know how to do that.
Right. I can, but I can as like an old pastor. All right,
Oh,
guys, we
okay.
need to raise funds for the roof of the church. Let's come on. I know you need to.
Ugh.
Like if I
missed
have,
out on that stuff.
if
Dang
I
it.
have a good, like if I have a good reason, I can really work that. But if it's like, hey guys, I'd like to buy beer later, and probably get a pizza. I feel like okay. Can you guys just tip me for how good of the experience it was? So I've had some success with that. I'm like, if you guys want to tip,
If you're having a good time, maybe throw some money in.
like, or
That's what we do.
or
We pay
just
for good
more.
times.
I've been very specific. I was like, hey man, you guys, 6 of you got 2 hours of entertainment. How much do you think that's worth? Like, and when I do that, I get twice as many tips. When I really just put the question in front of them of, hey, if you go to a movie, you were all going to pay like $90 for the experience.
Yeah.
And you can't talk to each other. But if you come here, can I just get? And it's funny because I'm like, can I just get $10 from your team? There's 6 of you. It's $2 per person. If I don't get that much.
Yeah,
I get about.
Oh, that's I'm getting like nervous right now.
I get like $4 per team.
Uh-huh.
I get like, I would say $1 a person that goes to that for tips.
But I mean, if you do actually get $1 per person, you're making over $100, right?
Yeah, on that one. Usually there's only like 20 people there.
Okay.
Yeah, but that specific venue we have is the venue that is just packed full of people.
And
so
that's
it's great
the-
because I make more. But
That's Corvallis, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's great because you get to take home more, but it's if it was the same as like other places, that'd be. But then they look in there and like if you're giving tips and they already see 100 in there, they're like, I don't want to give it to this guy anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like the question is like not how much I'm making, but how much value are you getting? Because people will look in and be like, he's getting more value than I thought he was. No, man, it's like value to you.
I would come through and I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna take about 80% of what's in here just to make it. There's some money in there, but I don't want to have people see like, wait, I could just go sit up there and talk in a microphone and make a shitload of money.
I think that's what I'm gonna have Robin, my kid, do this time because of that. Because people make those
just on the way back, just pocket all the big bills. Boom.
Because
boom, boom.
hey, people will look in there and do that, but it's not that. It's entertain. Like that's what trivia is entertainment.
Mm-hmm. I forgot to even show the Soul of Wit brand.
Yeah.
RF code thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was on the way back and I was like, Ty goes, how much money did you make? And I was like, nothing. What do you mean? You're gonna pay me? And he goes, you didn't ask for tips? That's scary. I can't do that.
Oh yeah, I hate doing it too, but it is it's
I'll have
worth
to learn,
it.
but yeah.
It's it makes it worth it.
See, with my current job making tips, I deliver pizza, so it's never a spoken thing. Nobody's ever like, I'll come tip you.
And the value is tangible and real. Like, hey, I got a hot pizza here, and you were the one that brought it to me. And
there's my car.
Yeah,
I just drove it. It's obviously not a company car. People can be like, okay, I'm actually helping you out.
That's kind of how I look at tips, is to try to get them to have that idea. Like, hey, man, I brought you an hour and a half of you having fun with your friends.
Time is money.
And I spend probably 2 hours a week writing trivia questions.
Dude, I only do a trivia thing when I was doing it on the Podchaost. I was only doing it for like a half hour per show. But yeah, I'd sit there for like a while. And it's just the people I know. And,
so what I do for that is, for the questions, I come up with answers in my head, just a set of answers, and it usually is something I want to do. Like I'll be done with this list, so I can say it now before this comes out. But I do one that the final question is me doing an impression of the guy at the end of Warriors. That show, the 1979 movie,
the high pitched voice guy.
Yeah,
okay.
so I gotta do that's why I wrote the whole round. Is at the end I get
so what movie is this from? And then you do that.
Yeah, well, I if it's a bigger audience, I have to ask for the specific actor's name. Like is David Patrick Kelly, which no one knows.
Yeah.
But when you're going up against 130 people, you have to beat them. Like I need to write 10 questions that no team can get 10 out of 10 on.
So do you start by just picking it out of your head? I know this instead of like, I'll find.
So we were on the road
obscure.
for that road trip, and I was like, and so that was in my head, and I was thinking of the headliner, who's just a road warrior on that trip, Eric Escobar. He's freaking hilarious. so I was thinking of that, and like he had just driven 14 hours. We did a show, and then he dropped his car off in a Walmart parking lot, and we were gonna go drive another. I was like, this guy's life is just driving. So I did this Road Warriors one, and I wanted Warriors to be in there, and then I did famous roads. So it's a trivia, 10 questions about famous roads and warriors, and it's called Road Warriors. And so I just came up with like a bunch of roads that I wanted to reference and a bunch of warriors, and then I stopped.
So was it a bunch of warriors throughout history?
It was Spartacus.
Okay.
Spartacus, Jonah Arc, a Wonder Woman's one. I forget the other. Achilles. No, not Achilles. Yeah, so it's a number of warriors. And
I thought it was all trivia based off that one movie.
No. That would be too obscure.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, so I make up stuff like that just to kind of like, and I enjoy calling the round. I think the round's hilarious to call. I have another one I just did that same day, and I was like hungover at this point. And I was chuckling the whole time I was reading it last night. It was catchphrases. Because Eric Escobar has this thing he does, and it's like if you hear it, you're like, that's him. And
I haven't seen him do comedy yet.
And it's just he goes I can't. He goes, he's like giggles as a we were talking about all weekend as a laugh indicator, and it like some other comics are like, and he's like, but it works. It entertains. Like the crowd gets into it. Mm-hmm. And so, you get on the road and like the third day.
People like Ron Funches for the same kind of reason.
Yeah, we were like,
he's also funny.
We were, yeah, and he's also funny. We were like 3 days in, and someone was just like, dude, this laugh indicator's crazy. And I challenged him. I was like, dude, because it was just three comics talking bullshit.
Yeah.
And I was like, go bigger. And
that's the fun shit about doing shows together with people. If you're going to be doing multiple shows, the challenge behind the scenes of it, like, I bet you can't say this word this many times, and then having people behind the... Oh shit!
So I'll show you the video after this. He put it on his Instagram. We challenged him to go because he goes after a joke. Mm-hmm. If there's a lot, because he does jokes that do a lot of tension, punchline. Mm-hmm. So short tension, punchline.
Jeremy Hotz has a thing like that.
Then
too.
Longer. So what he ended up doing is on the longer set when it was lots of tension, giggle, and if the crowd got into it, he would go, yeah. That's what we challenged him to do.
That's great.
And he like when he first did it, it was clumsy, and then by the end of the set, because he did it 4 times, like he was just like, "F you guys, I'm gonna do it." Mm-hmm. And the crowd was just eating it up. So in the last show, he's like, "I'm just gonna go and say yeah for like the last 20 seconds of my set," and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be great." And
like, oh shit, here comes his closer, and he just says yeah a bunch of times.
No, his closer is he does set up punchline.
Cool.
So his closer is when he talks about his merch, he sets it up, and then he just walks off stage. There's no punchline. So he's like, people say that your merch costs a lot, and then he just walks off stage. Like there's no punchline to the last joke, and I think it's like kind of crazy and kind of great. So anyway. He changed his closure to this one. He did that, and then he kind of like did it without a punchline, then moved on, stayed up there, and then said yeah for like 30 seconds straight, just over and over.
Yeah,
just the entire time. And I'm in the back filming it because I know
that's a long time to be doing that too.
Yeah, and
his time is so dilated,
and it's so absurd.
Yeah.
Okay,
so what's his style of comedy? So does that kind of play into what he does already?
Well, you had seen it in his set that night 4 times already.
Okay.
On the 4 big tension jokes, when he would do the giggle and it would get more of a laugh, he would then do that, and so people
would get more of a laugh,
and it would push him even further. It was almost like it's okay to laugh even more than you are. This is a good one.
Yeah.
And fun. Then, so they're already
stepping
conditioned.
On people's throats a little bit.
They're already in a condition to like know that that's a good thing
in comedy.
Yeah, in comedy, they're already in position to know it's a good thing. And then at the end, they're like, it's just kind of an absurd play with the audience.
Yeah,
and yeah, it was.
They have no idea they're playing. That's right. The interesting thing. If you get like a call and response going, kind of like that, because the call and response is I'm making a noise, you're laughing at it. Yeah. And if you keep that rolling, then you kind of break out of it and go like, "What the fuck am I doing?"
Yeah.
And they don't even know, and you're like, "This is weird." All right, and you get back in, and you're like, "Blah," and they're like, "Woo."
And
It's the craziest fucking thing.
yeah, and so like that, it was just it was the second time he had ever done it on stage, and it was funny because he's very like compared to where I am in comedy, everyone's good, but where like he's decent, he's very good comic. It was fun to watch him play with something new because his material's so dialed in. He was doing dialed in material and then playing with this during the
I
set.
love watching people do new shit. People that know what they're doing do new shit. That's
Right.
important.
Like when Kyle Kinane was doing new shit, I was like, he's like, this is the first time I said this on a mic. I'm like, it's it's more polished than anything I've ever done. Yeah, I guess that's what happens when you're 30 years into the
He was just kind of riffing at a thing. I was like,
right.
okay, so that's just you talking about what's here. Okay, so damn. All right.
Yeah.
I'll just throw away my note card and I'm going home now. Okay.
Right. Like the people who make the joke about like where you're at, interesting. The people who make the joke about where you're at and then have like 5 good tags on it already. I'm just like, damn. Like that's the muscle they're flexing.
Well, and I've seen, I can't remember where it was, but it's something that I've taken note of just like comics, like the headliners are there and they're not talking to any of the other comics. They're just walking around, like we're just walking around the whole place that we're about to do comedy and going like, oh, okay. And they're so just learning so they can just drop this, and at any point it just becomes a tool. And it's nice.
I almost see it as it's where and a lot of road comics do it almost to say, or people that aren't from that town, to say, hey, I see you where you're at.
Yeah.
I'm not a foreigner, 100%. Like, and it's weird because I have a lot of those skills in my previous like life, but it's weird to see comics use the exact same skills for different like means. And I was talking about with one guy who had been a free sample salesman for 7 years.
Costco?
Yeah.
Style, that style thing?
And it doesn't do like hardly any of that on stage, but I was watching him do like just mime what he used to do. Ridiculous skill set. Just a ridiculously polished skill set. I was like, you need to do that on stage. I was like, how do I transfer that to just do it? Like you can, because all a pre-sample salesman does is make sure everybody in front of him is wanting to buy whatever he's selling. And I was like, you just keep that transferable skills to comedy.
That's
like,
true.
You can't
That's
become
true.
savant level at comedy with 10,000 hours because you're getting 5 minutes at a time, 15 minutes at a time. Unless you get to the point of like the touring headliners, you're getting an hour a night.
Yeah, and
even then,
even if you're just before that doing feature work, it's insanely hard. And if you're someone who's starting and you live in Portland or something, you can go hit a bunch of mics. That still doesn't do it. You can hit a bunch of mics, then you can get on some shows, and I don't know. It's hard. I'm doing comedy with a couple people who are starting to be a little bit road doggy tonight, and it's crazy because like
okay, so you're smelling something.
okay, I'm smelling toast, which I'm just making sure that you smell toast.
No, that's your
Okay,
that's the whole shtick here. Is I set this up in the bus just so I could watch your stroke.
Okay.
No, the neighbor right across the street.
I think I'm handling strokes
Joseph
pretty well.
at Steelbridge Coffee. It's Tuesday. He roasts coffee. He roasts coffee on Tuesday.
Okay, just at his house?
He's in that garage right in front of the blue car, just roasting right now in a big
Cool.
old roaster. And then later today he'll. That's the weird thing working from home, is I get to know the whole neighborhood and then like they're really cool. His shtick is they do as least amount of like once they get the beans, the least amount of environmental damage as possible. So they got a solar setup. It roasts the bean. It helps roast the beans. He hops on his bike with a big trailer and delivers them throughout town.
Wow.
Just on his bike. And then they do it on the Saturday market too. So on Saturday he'll hop onto his bike and ride a.
And here
50.
they have a Thursday market here, right?
Right here, yeah. Yeah, that one's. They don't go to that one. That one's not that great. There's like you can get blackberries and.
I have a friend who sells coffee there.
Oh yeah.
Trade and Ferry.
Yeah. I talked to him last because I was like, I know some people who know you. And then I have a friend in the bus community who sells wine there. So they, well, not the Nomad community. She drives a box car, not a box car.
That's what I do.
Box truck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like a bigger version of your car.
Perfect. Okay, so
Anyways, we just your stroke took us off track.
well, I mean, we haven't gotten back on track for a good 20 minutes.
All right.
But I am curious, once your alarm goes off, what is the first thing you do? Do you get your phone and grab it, look at Facebook? You don't seem like that much of a immediately to Facebook person.
I'm in the software world for my old day job, so I understand the addiction process.
Do you watch that movie, that documentary? That's
No, but
hey, we're all fucked.
I have.
That's what it's called, right? Hey, we're all
pretty
fucked.
much. Yeah, I've lived I've done those things. Those are not I used to work with a guy who was on the dev team for Farmville when it started.
Oh no!
And so
Zynga?
Yeah,
Is that them?
yeah, he was telling me all sorts of stuff about it's all baked in. It's all I do software that bakes that stuff in. It doesn't bake up it bakes up the addictive stuff. It doesn't bake up the tracking. I've done software that does the tracking as well. I'll look at my phone first thing, usually just see all the notifications, and then immediately as I'm gonna go open something, I'm like, no, I don't work for a living.
Mm-hmm.
I put it back down and I
Nice.
just sit there 20 minutes in bed, 10 minutes in bed. The dog comes and hangs out. And then I just try to be real low key and then go get the coffee. By that point, Slay is about, which is the name of my domestic partner. Slay's about,
What?
she's about an hour into her job. So we just have a quick chat.
Let's just go right past that real quick. My partner's got the coolest fucking name.
Right. It's not their given name, but
So?
but he's either's Leroy. So
Yeah. She goes by Slay.
she goes by Slay.
If you say Slay, she'll be like, what?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Roller.
So cool.
She's in roller derby. That was her name.
Oh, okay, well then she's stupid. Never mind. Just kidding.
Yeah. Say it to their face to see what happens. She has bigger traps than us both, man. But yeah, so I'll just go talk to her for a bit, see how her morning's going. We'll plan a break for lunch or something at that point. And then I'll just kind of wander out here, or I'll write some trivia questions, or I'll hop on the computer and do some computer work for an hour. But I try to get out here by 8:30 or 9 at the latest.
Oh, okay. So it's just pretty much wake up, tell your phone to fuck off, get some coffee, go to the bus.
Yeah.
Go catch that bus.
Because I look at this is probably 500 to 800 hours in this one.
Just this one?
Yeah. So if I were 40,
You've only had it.
no. Yeah, but that's why I bought this one after buying that one. Is this one already had 100 hours, 200 hours in it?
Oh, worked on.
Yeah.
Oh,
it has really
okay.
nice tires. It was painted. It had $3,000 worth of engine work done. There's a reason
cool. So it's
I
solid.
moved to this
That's
one.
good.
And it has 111,000 miles, which for a diesel is nothing. So this is a great bus. Everybody's like, you should keep this forever, but
You can flip it?
if someone comes up and goes, when all said and done on this,
I'll give you $100,000 for it. You're like,
no, but when all said and done on this, I'll have 17 grand into it, and it will be worth 50 to 60.
Yeah.
Which is funny because bus people are usually the lower end of van life. They don't have the money. That's why they're getting into buses.
Right.
They want the width. They don't care about speed.
Width? Really?
Yeah, this is 1.5 feet wider than the van.
I mean, I guess that's nice for space. I like
It's-
standing up.
It's little things. You can stand up in here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
that's
I
the
couldn't stand
other.
up in the van.
That's the no. You couldn't. You were too tall.
To do this.
That was the other thing with the van. But this is a queen size bed. And
Have you slept in here?
Yeah,
You
it's a
slept in here.
queen size bed, and it still
disgusting.
has 10 inches on that side. So I have a space for a headboard and stuff, and then this, and yeah, this is why you do this. But it's cheaper. You can get into these. You used to be able to get into them for $2,500 all day. Now certain ones you can get for $4,000 that aren't very they have bad engines or known issues.
You had to travel to get this one, right?
This one was actually an Estacada.
Okay.
But somebody brought it down from Alaska. And I'll end up, if I do end up selling this, I'll end up selling it from $55,000 to $60,000 to somebody who wants to be an Instagram influencer or something. It's funny because the people you sell it to, they're buying it for an image.
That's what happened with the van?
No, the van was different. The van was actually on the cheaper side of that. I sold it on the cheaper side of what vans go for.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually sold it. Oh, I don't want to go too many personal details.
Right. That thing was clean too.
I sold it to
Really nice.
like an acquaintance in a group that I'm a part of, who's a doctor, and they were like, "Can I pay cash?" And I was like, "I prefer never to see that much cash in my hand at any given point." So they just directly deposited it into my bank account. So one day I woke up and I have no problem selling. I woke up and I had $65,000 in my bank account.
Woo.
I have a picture of that. Then immediately I had to pay off the van, which was at that point $20,000, and then the rest was.
But I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So then I just took that, turned it into here, paid off that trip I did. I paid off that trip.
Oh yeah, you did a trip.
Yeah, I did 11,000 miles in
You and your
31
kid
states.
went down all around.
Yeah.
How far did you go?
I went 11,000 miles. I went all the way to Florida.
Hell yeah.
I went down.
Where in Florida?
I just hit the St. Pete, I think, the northern side.
Okay, I'm from the north part.
Yeah.
So like when people say they go to Florida, they probably go past.
No,
where
I
I'm
was.
from.
I went through. I was actually trying to go to Murder Point, in which is where I have great oysters in Alabama. Yeah, down there, the little part of Alabama that touches the Gulf.
Mobile.
Yeah, I was driving through that,
Okay.
and then I went into Florida just to hit the state.
Mm-hmm.
Then I drove up through Georgia. From there, I went all the way up to Atlantic City.
Georgia's awesome. I love Georgia.
Yeah, I went up to Atlantic City, and then I turned and drove all the way back.
Did you gamble?
Oh, hell yeah. I
Cool.
gambled
How's gambling?
that entire trip.
I stopped drinking, and then gambling just kind of dropped off. I'm like, oh yeah.
I gambled when I brought that back from Pennsylvania a lot as well. But the first trip,
that van?
yeah,
Or that bus?
yeah, the first trip.
So that's the one you drove somewhere to get.
Yeah, that's the one I got in Pittsburgh.
And then you drove it back here, and you're like, oh shit, that could have exploded.
No. I drove it back here and it worked. I tried to fix something on it and I didn't, and now it has an issue and I have to go fix it.
Okay. It's nice to have the means to do that, and the knowledge.
Like the knowledge, yeah. Well, apparently I didn't have the knowledge to do it the first time because I screwed it up. But yeah, I'll fix that, and I'll get that one going. My goal for that one is to put as little as possible into it. It's still great. It has low mileage. It needs a little engine work. I'll put maybe 2,000-3,000 into it, and then try to sell it as another thing that's kind of goofy in the bus industry, which is called a blank slate. So it's currently
so it's like ready for someone to paint over, and
it's licensed as a motorhome already. That's why
it is.
that's why
Yeah.
I drove it
Oh,
to
yeah.
Dallas.
You're saying.
It's licensed as a motorhome. So it's a motorhome, which some people think is hard to get done, and it's not in rural Oregon. So it's licensed as a motorhome, titled as a motorhome. I will gut it. I will make the floor like this.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably put a bed frame in, and then I'll be like, okay, it's a blank slate for you to build whatever you want in it real quick, and all the hard stuff is done.
yeah.
And if not, I will, like if you want me to just put like seats I can do that, but I'll just have prices for that.
So these right here, these two seats, there was a aisle, and then another two.
These came out of a Ford handicap high top van. I stopped in Pittsburgh.
I think you're supposed to say cripple.
Yeah, Pittsburgh. I stopped and I picked them up from a lady who was selling them on Facebook who was rebuilding her van, and because I knew Slay does traffic safety, and she had a rule that we had to have seat-belted seats in here. Because I would have just made a dinette and not have done that, but we have seat-belted seats.
Oh, I see.
Because the things you can do in the back of a motorhome, which is why I do it as a motorhome, insurance is cheaper. You don't need seatbelts or seats.
Why is that?
Because it's a home. It's dumb.
Well, I mean,
you're still gonna very much die if you get in a wreck.
Yeah, it's like a bus. They don't have seatbelts on the seats,
but they're
if the bus
designed
hits
for you to
something-
hit the seat in front of you,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
true.
padded. And then the other thing you can do, which is good for comedy tours, is you can actually have open containers while driving, as long as they're not within the reach of the driver. So if I was doing a comedy tour and there was like 4 people back here, they
So
could
you
be
just like
drinking.
tease them, like
Yeah, right, exactly, something like
legal.
that. So those are all like good reasons to get them as a bus or get them as a motorhome, and then like it's insurance is cheaper.
Mhm.
And he like when it's titled as a motorhome. People don't do it to the vans because then when you drive around a van that's parked on the side of the street, they're like, "Oh, someone's sleeping in there."
Mhm.
This is a bus. You don't hide in a bus. People know exactly what this bus is about when you drive by it.
That's true.
So there's no hiding, but it doesn't really matter.
Do your neighbors? You think your neighbors look at your house and go, "What the fuck, dude"?
My neighbors, I thought
They probably know though.
they would, but they think it's great. I know them all at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Slay's lived here for like 14 years. She knows them. I actually know some of them better than her, just because I'm out talking to them. Like the guy right over there loves the bus. Comes over, talks to me. Knows that he can borrow like a bunch of tools if he needs to
Nice.
for stuff. The old guy down there comes over once a week to shoot the shit for like a half an hour, and took some bus seats. He loves it. The thing is, like right next to us, right here, is a church.
I could spit on it from right here.
Yeah, and it sucks, but not because it's the church. It sucks because it's the homeless food bank church. So 3 days a week, there's just a bunch of people.
You get an
on
airsoft
bikes. No, because I just try to keep things not from disappearing. But there's a bunch of people there getting food, which is fine. A lot of people need help in there getting food, but then there's lots of like people obviously that are in the camp under the thing that are using drugs that are just and they want to talk sometimes, and I got to be nice, and because these things are hard to lock down 100%, so I prefer that they all like me, but they're there. And then Friday the
It's
entire
It's either that or you get guns.
no, I'm not. I can't shoot anybody.
Well, yeah, that's they have to like you.
Yeah,
'Cause you
so
don't
they have
seem
to
like
like
a gun guy.
because then down there in the corner on Friday nights they do like 150 homeless people that have a meal. So this like I'm not the problem in this neighborhood to the neighbors. It's not my issue. We have a bunch of cameras that are on this side, and we have lots of footage of like people pooping on our garage, people shooting up and having sex in this alley. So the fact that it's full of buses, everybody's happy because there's less other things going on at this little alleyway thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of it's like that. And I was like, Slay's gonna hate that I have buses here, and I was, there's enough money in this that I can go get a cheap garage in the wonderful industrial section of West Salem.
Mm-hmm.
And she was very much like, no, I want you like around. Like if I'm not working, it's the cool thing is I get to have a great relationship with her. She's like, I want you around, and she loves the buses.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she was going to hate them. At first, she said I had to get a van, not buses, and then she got in a couple, and she's like, these are amazing. So the concession I had to make was those, and then she's super happy. Like she thinks it's great.
Well, and then there's the bonus of security.
Yeah, the bonus
You're
of
just
security and
walking around
and all that, and yeah, and so it's fun. I make the joke for somebody who's unemployed. I work more than most people I know.
Mm-hmm. That's fairly common, though. If you work
Yeah.
for yourself, you're actually doing a shitload of work.
Yeah, you have to do everything. I have to hustle on everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I've when I once rebuilt a 17,000 square foot building to put a college ministry in, so I had a lot of the skill sets for this. Like I have a lot. Like
A lot of carpentry knowledge.
yeah, tomorrow.
That's cool.
Because I don't think I'm gonna get anything done today. Tomorrow I'm making hardwood countertops.
Ooh, right here?
Yeah, the table, like where you're at, and then some accents that go around to kind of tie everything together. There'll be a table right here, and then this will drop down, and there'll be this whole thing right here is going to be a drop-down bed and sleep on. It's not going to be super comfy, but it's lined up so that you can like sleep on this. There's going to be 2 foam pads, and you can just sleep there.
Awesome.
And then these racks right here are going to be, they're actually built into the frame of the bus.
Mm-hmm.
And you can put those things, that hook there, and you can do a...
hammock.
Yeah. So we'll have... this.
Were you going to say hammock?
Yeah, this will sleep 4.
Fuck yeah.
You'll be able to string a hammock across, have someone sleeping here, and then 2 on the bed. Which is... It's like not what I really want. Like, one thing I learned this weekend, if we do a tour of some sort, like 3's the number.
Yeah.
Opener, feature, headliner. That's the number. The number was bigger than that this week, and I did not appreciate the additional people.
And then you could just have someone that's not allowed to sleep on the bus. You have to sleep outside, but you can come with us.
Right, but yeah,
Jeff. Jeff's so fun to bully. I love it.
No,
He's my favorite. What?
I'll stand up for Jeff.
Oh, me too. Jeff's one of my favorite people in the world.
Yeah, but yeah.
Top 5 best friends.
Top best friends. All right. Yeah.
Okay,
So that's
so-
what I'll do. That I'll go to some days I go to the dump. If I got a bunch of trash, I do that like about twice a month.
The one over there off Corden.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's
I
what
used to go there as a kid with my friend's dad, and we'd do dumb
Yeah.
stuff. And then me and my friend would sneak off to they got those big boulders,
Yeah,
and then we just throw the boulders in there and break shit, and we got in big trouble.
I'm sure
They do
You're
not
you're
like that.
No. I once tried to throw a 5-gallon bucket of ash into one of those things on a windy day.
Wait, tried? Oh, so you just did throw it?
I
It
threw
just went everywhere.
and the guy let me know that I was banned from that one for life.
Oh, wow.
I was like, "You're not going to know who I am."
You're like, have you ever seen Big Lebowski? That part's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty much that for an entire dump. But no, I do that. I try to buy all the stuff that I can from Amazon because they're like specialty items, and then I'll like once a week usually have a shopping day where I'm gonna go get things like this stuff, the wood, all the stuff that I need that I can get locally, and then the other days I just work.
So you're a victim of the wood price.
Oh, yeah.
So
you won't find any, like, usually you'll find like 30 or 40 sticks of just wood laying around that are just chilling because I can have that
sticks?
much. 2x4s,
Oh, okay.
1x wood, like, yeah, just like pieces of wood, like long uncut pieces of wood that are 8 feet long. I have like 4 right now because I don't want to go buy.
So,
they
okay,
cost
so
4
how
times
much-
as much they used to cost.
Okay, that's what I was curious.
So like things that I could just buy for $2.50, so like didn't even have to think about it, just get 10 of them, are now $8 each.
Okay.
So yeah, so like, and that's just for. It's funny because it just affects common wood. It just affects pine and fir and wood that you do for building. Because
What caused all this? Was it the chip shortage?
it was a great podcast done by a guy my buddy in.
Is this why I can't get PS5s?
No, this is different. That's different. But no, this one basically it's a pandemic related thing. When the pandemic started, when I did my first bus, they fire sailed all the wood, so wood was like ridiculously cheap. I was getting 2x4s for like $1.50
Why'd they do that?
because they were really uncertain about where the market was going and they wanted to get rid of inventory.
Okay.
So then everybody stayed home and everyone needed wood and nothing was happening. So wood went up 4 to 5 times what it used to be in supply costs. So that and now it's half of its peak and still 2.5 times more than it has ever been prior to the pandemic. So it's just the nerd part of me. Wood was going for $400 1,000 board feet, which you won't know. That just means nothing. But it's a $400 per one unit.
It's like when you talk about gas barrels.
Yeah, it's $400 for one unit. It peaked at $2,000 for one unit.
That's
and
chilling.
$400 used to be the highest it had ever been. It peaked at 2,000
5 times, right?
Yeah, it peaked at 2,000. Now it's at 1,000.
Okay.
So now it's at 1,000 and it's going down-ish. But I bet you it's going to be one of those things where the new normal is going to be much more than the old high. So that's just like wood is something I have to be very conscious about. How I purchase it, where I purchase it, and the things that's funny is.
So do you think that's ever going to level out, or do you think it's just going to
coming to level? I think it's
level
going to level
out
out about $800 a unit.
Okay.
So I'm going to have to pay
So it's
twice
about
as
doubled
much
in
as
it,
I
yeah.
used to pay, but less than half what I could have paid. It's kind of weird.
Oh, it's like wood stocks.
Yeah, it's exactly there is Woodstocks.
Peace, dude.
There's a guy in Bend, Oregon who used to be a professional football player, like a good one. Played for like 11 years, and now does wood sales.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting, like where you end up.
You know Big Brad?
What?
You know Big Brad?
Big Brad.
Big Brad? Black? Big Brad?
The guy, the downtown Salem guy?
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He used to play for the Cowboys.
Oh really?
Yeah. and he's a financial consultant now. More of an MLM kind of guy. Whoops. But yeah, he tried to help me out, and I said no thanks. But cool stories about the Cowboys.
The Cowboys. Anyway,
But yeah, they go into finance a lot.
so the funny thing that I ended up being was I buy. So what I do on this, like, I have some nice pieces of American cherry right now.
Do you think people are going to start just cutting out pieces of wood and hanging them up in their house? Like, look at this.
I actually know.
Oh my God! Is
I know
that
some,
an
like,
American cherry?
I know some Instagram influencer who does that and sells them, and I think it's the funniest. She takes what I would consider scraps and puts them on a thing and sells them in geodesic designs. People buy them because she's an influencer and they want to support her. Like, but I think it's hilarious. It's like pallet wood on a frame. But no, I go to a place in Albany that sells them real cheap. Like, the cool thing about the expensive woods, though, is they didn't go up in price. They went up like 10% because the market demand for them never changed.
Right.
So
During the pandemic, kids just wanted to build skate ramps and all sorts of
right.
stuff.
So
I
the thing that was that went 5 times up in price, that cost, like, literally it cost, a tenth of what, or like a sixth of what good wood cost, like not hardwood cost, went up 5 times. But hardwood
Is that like pine and shit?
yeah, but hardwood itself only went up like 10%. So now I can get like a 2x4 of cherry is going to be like $12, and a 2x4 of pine is going to be like $8, where it used to be $2 and $10. So like it's interesting for the wood side of that, which is a big old tangent we're on. But like, I buy really nice wood now because it's not.
You might as well.
Yeah, I might as well, and it's going to look great, and I'm gonna put it in here, and it will really it'll make this go from, hey, this is obviously a bus that I've converted, to something looking a little nicer.
Do you think that will make your price when you sell it go up?
It will justify the price that I ask.
Because people will be like, how come? You'd be like, well, when I bought the wood, it was expensive.
Right. No. Like, it's this wood's always going. The prices will be justified because of the market, and I probably won't be in this long enough to see the market collapse. But what's happening is,
What do you think is gonna
so many remote workers.
Ready Player One?
No, so many. Yeah, but that
Stack up on top of each
but
other?
so many remote workers are able to do this. The jobs that are currently recruiting me to come work for them, it's kind of an interesting dance I have. I will only entertain it if it's remote. And if I do get a remote job, this will get like a $3,000 traveling solar / internet setup done by a guy in Seattle. Well, basically, you spoof the cell towers for 2 iPads. You get an iPad SIM card for like AT&T and Verizon. And the thing about iPad SIM cards is they don't have data limitations. So you're paying $40 for as much data as you can get on a SIM card.
Thanks for joining us here on the Podchaost. Did you know that you can head over to our YouTube page and hit that subscribe button? You should, it helps. Here on the Podchaost, we like to have fun with our comedian friends. Whether that's playing video games, making stupid jokes, doing some stupid stunts, and just having some fun adventures along the way. The Podchaost. Check it out.
You put 2 in this device and put it on top of your thing. You get, anytime you can get cell phone coverage, you can get unlimited data. And since you have 2 of them, they thread them, so it's twice as fast. So you basically can just be anywhere.
Twice as fast?
Yeah.
So it actually works like that?
Yeah, it works. It takes 2 channels and puts them together. So it doubles your effective rate of download, because one is not enough.
Okay.
To do what I need to do. So, yeah, a guy kind of figured that system out, and I'll purchase that and then just travel around on the bus.
And Apple's okay with that?
See, that's the SIM cards aren't owned by Apple. I'm sure like Verizon.
Okay.
Verizon shouldn't be okay with it, but they're not asked. They're not like, hey, prove to me you have an iPad.
Don't you have to just be like, well, you can climb up there and look at it? There's an iPad up there?
No one ever asked. Like,
that's true.
Yeah. So you're just using that SIM card, and it's there being like, the difference between a phone SIM card and an Apple is they'll limit the phone SIM card. You can't put a phone SIM card up here because they limit it when it gets to 20 gigs. I know because when I was on the road, I hit 20 gigs in like 15 days.
And that is just because they don't expect people on an iPad, so they don't even like worry about it.
It was one of those things that there's not a big enough market for them to care about. It's always considered,
and rarely do people actually go over the limit.
And it's a side business.
Yeah,
and I think it's all going to become a moot point when that Starlink comes around. Because Starlink was originally like you can get internet anywhere, and it was like the idea was you were going to be static, but then the bus community and the nomad community really came out and said we will buy the crap out of this, and so then Starlink came out and said, oh, actually we're going to make it so if you're moving around you can also, so it's going to be I bet it becomes the new internet.
So it was going to be like as long as you're parked somewhere you can get the internet.
Yeah.
Okay. But now it's going to be
now you can get like no matter where you're at you'll be able to get a service, and that's going to be great because I'm willing to pay.
How many satellites does he have to shoot up there to make this work?
I don't know. I'm not that smart. Probably enough that we slowly die in our planet a little bit quicker, but we have internet while we're doing it. So I'll be walking around with. I'll be paying $80 a month to have this thing like more or less fully. I'll pay a lot of money up front and then $80 a month to have internet, which is, it seems like a lot. Like the cheapskate version of me seems like a lot, but then it's like, hey, those jobs, they make like $100,000 to $150,000 a year. So it's a lot of money that allows me to make, no one else is paying me that money. And it's funny. Like I'm a prostitute for whoever pays me the most.
Right.
Right now it's kind of this falling into this bus thing. It's kind of fun. But if I go get a half job and make like a half-time job and make like $60,000 a year,
I hate you.
Yeah, you should. And if I could do that.
Oh, sorry, no profanity and negative talk. My bad.
Right. The bus rules. I've taken this thing was full of stickers. The only one I haven't taken down is follow the bus rules. The bus driver may assign seats. Be courteous and polite. No profanity or negative talk. That's number 3. You broke that one already. Do not eat or drink on the bus.
Whoops.
That one's loose. Violence is prohibited. Remain seated at all times. No smoking. Keep your hands and head inside the bus. Do not destroy property. Which seems like that's a repeat. And for your own safety, do not distract the driver. I love those rules. Those rules are staying up there.
Do not destroy property is a repeat because of violence?
I guess violence or be courteous and polite. Like, if you're destroying property, you've probably broken another rule.
That's true. You know what's weird? I was driving around a couple days ago, drove by a cop, and I got that whole like nervous, like and then I was like, you know what? I haven't committed a crime in a long fucking time. Okay, all right. I'm not drunk.
It's weird that we have like we have a response to that, and my response is just I've always been like when I in my previous life, like cops love to talk to me, so I have like this nonchalance with them.
Church stuff.
Yeah, church stuff, or we ran we ran it on Fraternity Row, so it was
What town?
Albuquerque. So I rebuilt 2 frat houses that got kicked off campus for doing horrible stuff. And then I was like the pastor dude who we were doing crazy stuff. It was like Animal House led by me, but we weren't committing major. Well, we would, if major crimes were committed, like we had a drug dealer, somebody tried to stab somebody else, I would just go to the cops and be like, you need to arrest this person. They loved me. Like the cops, we would have conversations all the time, and I take that now to go like, I'll just, hey, how you doing? How's it going? And it's weird because I know that's one, tons of privilege, but also 2, this weird experience I had where I needed police officers
to help you.
Yeah.
Which is a weird thing because it's like I don't like going into talking about cops that much because most of the people I'm around are like, fuck all of them. Every single one is a piece of shit. And I'm like, okay, you can't have that opinion. That's not necessarily something.
Yeah, I know one that.
Because, I mean, I have plenty of times, every time I've been, like, I haven't gotten into a cop situation, like, what's going on here? If I'm like, hey, man, they're like, oh, hey. I'm like,
but 100% I see that that's, 100% I see that that's, because I'm a white dude.
Yes.
Yeah, I was talking to a Hispanic this week, and we're just like, he's like, I always get pulled over. I'm getting pulled over probably 3 times a quarter. And I was like, I'm getting pulled over once a decade. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, and I deserve it. Probably more than once a decade, to be super honest. It also helps that I drive a minivan that doesn't look like, it looks like kids are in it and not homeless people. But yeah, and so I was like, we were just talking about the stupid things you can do. I had a buddy who used to pick his nose as a Hispanic guy when the cops were like when he was like a cop would pull up to him at a stop sign, and he would just pick his nose to look nonchalant. That dude he hated it, but he was like, I need to look not scared.
That's a good.
Yeah.
Especially if you eat it.
Commit to the bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because whatever, don't pick your nose and eat it or whatever, because that's gross, but I'll do that. I'll do that on my, off time. So, yeah, I'll definitely do that in front of a cop now, for sure.
Just that, and then the other thing, I was like, dude, just put, a pride hat in there. I maybe that's just me, but
no,
I think
that makes you look way more white.
I think a cop is, this kid looks like a cholo. I'm sure if he looked like a cholo with a rainbow hat on, the guy would be like, okay.
He's got white friends.
Right, exactly. This is so bad, but that's
totally true.
That's
though.
why it's okay for some people to hate the cops, is because that's not real.
Yeah, and I come from a small town, so me and my 3 white friends would go around town, and we get fucked with from the cops because it's just a small town and they have nothing else to do.
Yeah, but
small white town.
But it was like, hey, Chad, I'm gonna tell your dad. You're like, all right, Jerry, no problem.
Yeah, all right, Officer Casper, you can have our weed. Take it. Go fuck yourself. Ha! We just skateboard away, and he took our weed.
And he probably smoked it.
Probably. He was the school cop, and he caught us at a church. He just rode up on his bike.
Yeah.
And he's like, you guys give me that. You guys get out of here. Get the fuck out of here. And we're like, we're not in trouble? And he's like, no, just get out of here. Just go. Give me all that stuff and just get. And he's just like, well, all right.
Oh, he definitely smoked that. He was probably like, can you imagine being a cop in a small town, waking up without weed? You're like, I need to bust someone today. And you go shopping for some weed. I'm sure that Johnston kid has some.
Okay, so you around 2:00, you said you might take a nap.
The bus gets super hot. If I don't have any errands to run, which half the time I do, I'll try to lay down, especially if it's night like tonight, where we're going to midnight probably. I get back at midnight or 1 tonight.
Yeah, same.
So today I will. I won't get anything done on the bus. It's fine because I am super exhausted from yesterday. I cleaned it out this morning. That's all I did, and replaced some small things. But I will. I'll lay down for a bit. I'll wake up at 4. Then I'll meet with Solowit. We will plan out the day. I will have to go. I need to pick up. I need to go print a bunch of trivia sheets that I have to do. I need to print those and cut those and get those ready. So I only have 20 right now, and there's going to be 30.
Cut them with
I cut them with scissors. I'd like to have a big thing, but I don't. And they charge you to do it at Copycats. And Sammy's is right next.
You to just
they charge you $5 for as much as I wanted to get done.
Or keep an eye out at thrift stores for one of those.
And yeah, please. And then the thing that I do is they got scissors at Sammy's and a drink is $3. So I'm going to save $2, have a gin, and just cut these by hand. So I'll go over to Sammy's, cut them up, get them ready, and then drive out to Corvallis.
It's fun having I really do surround myself with people who have that kind of mindset of well, I could do this, or I could save myself a few bucks and do a little work myself and get a little drunk while I do it.
Well, it's the funny thing about my current life is I hardly drink at night. And I don't drink it at the Corvallis venue. Last night I had 2 Mountain Dews because I needed to, and it's literally a growler station I was at. And they will give me whatever I want. And I was like, I want Mountain Dew.
They got good lemonade.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the place tonight has great lemonade, great iced tea. And they'll apologize to me if they're out. They know that's what I drink.
Nice.
But, yeah, I'm usually drinking a little bit each day from 2 to 4. 1 to 3 drinks. But then at night, not at all. Because I just need to be on it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not worth it. I thought that's the funniest thing of this whole change in my life, is like my drinking hours are now. If I can get to the stuff done early and I can have that drink before I nap, come on, that's a better nap.
It's a
yeah.
really good nap. Man, I miss day drinking. That was the most fun drinking. I think I've come around to the whole, like, I don't think I'm done drinking. I think when my daughter is 21 or whenever she starts drinking, I'll be I'll go have a drink with you and see how that goes, see how I feel about it. I don't know.
I've had a weird relationship. When I was a pastor.
Well, yeah, your fucking partner's name's Slay.
No, just in general in life with alcohol.
Yeah.
I've had a weird relationship. When I was a pastor for 8 years, I didn't drink at all. So because I was a pastor of college kids, and I did not want to show them any of that.
And you were a college kid also? Or you were older?
I was 25 to 32, so I was just a hair older.
Okay.
Yeah, I did that super young. And then I didn't drink.
This is my second time not drinking.
And then
stopped drinking for a few years once.
Then I had 2 kids at that point, and I got married for a second time to somebody who had 2 kids. And I was always doing crap, so I very rarely drink.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's funny because my kids had never seen me drink. And then I would drink, and my daughter at the time would be like, she's like, I don't want to see you drink. And I was like, all right, like that's like interesting thing for an 8-year-old to ask you.
Oh, for sure.
Because they had never seen it before, so they're very empathetic.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna like explain to you that I just didn't, like I would have previously, but I didn't because of a job.
Right.
So I just didn't until like I had a conversation with my daughter like 5 years later or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh yeah, and I can understand now. As an 8-year-old, they couldn't fathom it, and I wasn't like,
right.
For me, I do not like. I'll get drunk like once a year. Just sloppy.
I don't know that I've ever seen you drunk.
No, you'll never. Well, yeah, you had the best chance because I won't name any names, but there's a.
What was the time?
There was a shorter person at the den who would love to serve me as hard as he could.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I'd unintentionally get sloppy at the den.
I mean, that's.
But he would always ask before. He's like, because I ride my bike downtown, or I have the scooter now.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, did you
scooter as in like a scooter?
You ever
like
seen my scooter?
Stand up. And
we'll do the
goof
scooter.
off?
That's good B-roll.
God.
I'll give you on the scooter.
Hell yeah.
And so I would go down there on my bike, and I'd roll up. And the best thing about the den is they have that front room to watch sports in, and
Mm-hmm.
nobody's ever in there.
Nobody.
You just sit down and turn on the thing.
Even when there's comedy, there's nobody in there.
Ask the bartender to turn the music off, and you just sit there. And then like there'll be some other people that I know, like the Guitar Caster owner will show up, and so the bartender could be like, "Are you driving?" I'd be like, "Nah, I rode my bike." He's like, "Okay,
sweet."
And I was just like, this bartender just wants to get someone sloshed, and like I'm his freebie.
I want to see you fall down on a bike.
Yeah. So one time he was talking shit because I was in the smoking place of there, too drunk to ride my bike.
Yes.
And I was just sitting there trying to get sober, and he was trying to give me. And I was like, no, I need to ride a bike. I think I actually left my bike home and just stumbled.
That's great.
And it was a mile and a half, and I do not remember the walk. Like I should have had recollections of that rock, and I don't.
Oh, there's a walking bridge. I was like, how do you even do that?
That was back when I was over by Tony's Tacos on Capitol.
Oh yeah, I used to live over there.
Yeah. I live right.
You know, like 3 houses to the left of that, there's that brick house.
Yeah.
I used to live there.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm.
I used to live directly behind that. Like there's Tony's, and then there's that house on the big lot, and then right behind that, I lived at
on
the corner.
McCoy. Oh
McCoy.
shit!
Right at the corner of my kids. This is a good story. My kids.
Wait, I wonder if did you ever see someone like grab a dog once, and then you like looked up from your paper, and then looked back down because there was a dude in a pizza car. Like, do you know whose dog this is?
No, that happened.
That wasn't.
That was a weird thing. But we.
That happened to me one time, and it was that house, and I was like, "Is this your dog?" And the person who I don't know. It was a while ago. They were just
So
so
I
apathetic.
lived there the year before the pandemic. That's where Zach.
That was when
that's,
that happened.
Yeah, so that's where Zach came when I gave Zach all that like weed and alcohol when the first the pandemic happened. Do you remember that? He gave me a bunch of onions and potatoes.
Oh my God! Yes.
It was the start of the apocalypse.
Yes.
That's where I was living. I did this something. I think it's super cool.
Oh yeah, I was gonna help build something.
Oh, yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was what was super cool about that was I rented this house and it's we've already given the location more or less. It was 4 bedrooms, 5 bedrooms.
Wow.
The catch is the owner lives in the mother-in-law basement apartment, but he's the coolest dude, and he doesn't mess with you, and he doesn't care, and he's super quiet. And
Is that what they call that?
yeah, like it's separate.
mother-in-law?
Yeah, well, like it's a completely separate. Has its own little kitchenette. You never see him. You
Okay.
share he has to walk up from the basement, and it's there's a door that you locks it, so you have to you have one shared stairwell.
Okay.
But you only use it to go outside. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, the house is 5 bedrooms. We rented it for $1,400.
That's pretty good.
And it was me, my son.
Yeah, that's less than we're paying.
Yeah, it was me, my son, and it was freshly remodeled. Like, so it's nice. It's me, my son, 2 of his 20-year-old friends. And so we got on the lease. A year goes by, and at this point, he has graduated high
Did you
school.
get your security deposit back?
No. So here's how it works. Yes, I did, but in a different way. So a year goes by, and my son's now graduated high school. He's 19, and we go to the owner, and I go, I'm not going to be here anymore. I'm leaving. I'm going to take my name off the lease. And I was like, will you lease it to these people without me here? And they're like, he's like, yeah, they've been very good. And so my kid gets to this apartment where he's paying like less than $300 a month for a room.
God.
In a house. The best part about that house is it has like a great garden and like wonderful flowers and stuff.
Good yard.
You rent the house for $1,400. The owner is like, I will keep the grounds. Like, he does all that work. Those sweet flowers, that the whole thing in the front, all that. He just takes care of it all. That's all. Like, he does all that work. So you get this like wonderful looking house, and you don't do any of the actual crappy housework, which I don't like, mowing lawns and stuff like that. And so he got this. It was funny because they're like, no, we don't need your help. We're gonna go get our own house. I was like, all right. And like 2 days later, they come back. We're gonna stay here. I was like, yeah, you are. There's
No shit.
nothing.
There's nothing that you can afford like this, and there's nothing that will just.
Yeah, nobody's gonna give 4 college kids a house. So they still live there. He lives there. He has a job and he enjoys life, and yeah, it's pretty funny.
Cool. Now I know which house to egg. And so do you.
Yeah, go for it.
People at home.
Like, yeah. If he doesn't have enough trauma because I was his father, you can do that too. I did do something great. I'm going to get points for this. You're going to give me points for this. I bought him so I made a bunch of money last year when pandemic was happening on poker.
Oh, really?
No, I didn't. Officially, I did not do that because I did it online, and officially did not do it online.
No.
So I made a lot of money in Bitcoin last year.
Cool. Good way to do it.
And so for Christmas, I took it all out of Bitcoin, like right before it spiked to 60 grand, and it was like at 17 grand.
Mm-hmm.
I took it all out of Bitcoin, and I don't care. Like, I spend a bunch of money for my kids to have a great. My daughter got a sweet laptop. My son got and a trip to Hawaii. My son got I built him a gaming computer. I built him a gaming computer that I want to have.
Oh, that's nice.
But I should not
That's good
ever
shit.
like. I would not be a successful human being if I had it.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a i9 10900X, just processor.
I bought a laptop.
There's one thing that I couldn't get him, and that's that new stupid video card.
Oh, yeah.
So because it was out of stock.
Mm-hmm.
I wake up on the tour this weekend, and all it is a Amazon link. So I did it when I was super tired because I didn't want to have to console myself when I was awake.
Mm-hmm.
I bought it was like $900 video card.
Yep.
And
But that's actually about how much the video card costs without the gouging, right?
Yeah, without the gouging. And so I bought it. And this relationship I have with him, he just writes back. I sent him a screenshot of the purchase, and he's just like, "You magnificent bastard." And I was like, "That's the relationship I have with my kid. Like, that's better than I love you for my kid."
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and
that's something I'm gonna have to get used to because my daughter's kind of dipping out of the "I love you" and "I love you too"s, and she's not even fucking 10 yet.
But if that's their personality, that's what you do.
I know. It's like she's like, "I want black lipstick," and I'm like, "Okay, fine."
My son is
I'm not gonna fight you on anything because you're just gonna
win.
Mm-hmm.
My son is very empathetic, and he loves hugs, and he loves like that kind of stuff, and like ruffling the hair and whatever, and like that touch that on the arm or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Loves that. Not very vocal about his affection.
Okay.
And for reasons that quite frankly are the other half of the equation that made him. And so that is what it is. My other child just recently came out as non-gendered.
Mm-hmm.
So if I refer to them in the past when they were my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
it's weird for me. I'm going to do some comedy on it.
Yeah.
And people are like, "Oh, you're going to be real edgy."
You have a little bit.
Yeah, they're going to be real. You're going to be really edgy. I'm like, no, it's not. It's comedy based on what it is to be a father.
Right.
And approach transgender, non-gender, non-binary, like reality from my point of view.
Right.
Not like what I think about that. I think it's whatever.
Yeah. It's not like you're not going to come. So here's what I have to say about trans people.
No, it's really
not at all.
Yeah.
What anybody. Yeah.
It's gonna be just kind of like an effort to normalize it through my messing it up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's what we do, especially dad comedy. Holy shit.
Oh yeah. So I want to do I have some really bad dad jokes I'm gonna do for that. But so anyway, that on the other side, they're very word based. Like they'll be like, I'll just tell them, if I just say I love you, that's enough.
Mm-hmm.
If I hug them, that's no, that's can't do that. It's just interesting when you have children that you have one say that one experience. Like, if you get more than one, you get just like you were the same drunken experience as making the last kid. What happened that you're so drastically different?
I just told my daughter on Sunday that she was a mistake. It was just funny because I was like, yeah, and some people just have kids by accident. I mean, you're one. And she's like, what? Rude. And I was like, do you think that we tried to have a kid? No, we did. She goes, my mom wanted one. And I was like, yeah, she wanted one. And that's why she didn't take. Never mind. We'll talk about plan B later. Okay.
There's fun comments like, there's fun realizations throughout the whole thing that your kids have that you can't give them about the parenting situation.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the reason I live in Oregon, besides Albuquerque, is a shithole you should never, ever go to. I was in New Mexico. I had a great job at the time for me. I just got my MBA.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who used to live in New Mexico.
And it's called the Land of Entrapment, which is the riff on the Land of Enchantment, which is their state motto. I had a good job there, and I traveled a ton for that job, and my kids would split time between here and there. 6 months, they did half the school year there, half the school year.
That sucks.
People would say that sucks, but for them it was just normal. So they would just had two sets of friends.
That's true.
Like it was just like, okay, after Christmas we go to New Mexico and we just hang out with all his friends, and then we come back in June or July.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds hard, but if you're a kid, it's normal.
That was their normal.
You don't even
they had the best situation because school here starts really late, and school in Albuquerque gets out really early. So they would start like September, and in Albuquerque it started in May or in August, like early August, and then it gets out in Albuquerque in like early to mid May.
So their school years are pretty short.
Yeah, they were. But then
did they ever have to? Because the curriculum is different in different states and counties and stuff.
But we don't care about kids and education in America. Like they never had a problem with that.
Yeah.
They got getting older, and I was single. I found myself single again, and I was like, I went to my boss and I was like, I'm either gonna quit or I'm gonna go to Oregon, and you let me work remotely. And they said, yeah, but we may lay off remote workers at some point. Like they're the first to go. And I said, that's fine. So they paid me the whole time. I moved out here so I could be next to my children. I ended up looking forever. I spent a summer in Bend because once you go to Bend in the summer, you don't want to ever leave. So I was a summer in Bend, and then I ended up here 2 blocks down the street from where my kids lived. So they would just, for their most of their middle school and high school years, they would just, we had no, like, there was no spoken parenting plan. It was just, hey, I'm going to walk to dad's.
Yeah.
And at the point, like, eventually I had to be like, hey, dad wants to be single for a little bit, so I need you to not be here. Because it just became every day.
You got to knock and shit.
Yeah. Like, please, please knock. There was one time he didn't, and that's his trauma.
Yep.
Yeah. My kid always.
You got to give them 1 or 2 that they'll just remember and
right,
shake out of their head.
Yeah. So that's how I got back to Oregon, and I was positive I was going to leave. My plan was when my youngest became 18 to get a van, build it out, and leave. My youngest is 17. I built the van already. Everything just kind of moved up with COVID for me because I had the capability.
Yeah.
And now I don't I have a great relationship. I'm in a great situation. I'm happy, content. The only thing I need to figure out is how to be happy and content and also lose weight. Because all the weight I lost when I did comedy has returned. And I'm going to blame that on COVID 5 years from now.
Is that... Okay.
It's just, so I need to figure that little one out. But I love being here. I can't believe I'm saying that. Because I speak Spanish fluently. I could be anywhere. But here's where the base is, and I've built a great set of friends in this town, like a great little community.
Yeah. If you live outside of Salem, you don't see the good part of Salem. Right. So it's like being here and being in it for a while is it's pretty cool because there's actually really good people and really good things to do around here.
And the difference, I cut you off, I'm sorry.
No, it's it's good community place.
The difference in the levels of getting to know the owners of places. Like in Portland, I could never tell you who owns what.
That's totally true. I know, a lot of owners of a lot
I went
of things.
to a birthday party for somebody who was turning, I guess, 40 for like the 13th year.
There's a lot of those around here, too.
Right, yeah. And they own a business downtown. And I actually built... Have you seen the speakeasy I built downtown?
The one that's up above...
Yeah. Have you ever been up there?
Huh.
Okay, I'll take you up there sometime. It's great.
That'd be cool.
It's just like...
Because that was a place where... No, I don't know. I think that stuff was illegal, so never mind.
No. It was... Everything we did... it's just called the speakeasy. There's no serving of alcohol up there. We did one show there. The owner got lit. And
she's not 40?
No, 13, a couple years.
Okay.
So the thing is, the owner got lit, and the next door neighbor was like, "You're never doing that again."
I could see that.
And it was... Because
wasn't there a little bit of comedy as well?
There was comedy. It was allowed when you were allowed to have a certain number of people. We had that number of people. But things got loose. It was like $200 purchase made, and she had no recollection of it. So, yeah, I was like, if we're going to do something... That's like where we do comedy in weird locations. So I was like, if we're ever going to do it here again, you're not drinking. Like, there's going to be a sober... It's weird to be at a place and there was no sober contact. And that was just because it was a private event.
Yeah.
And so there didn't have to be. But, like, could you imagine going to, like, a growler station and you're, like, asking the person behind this counter, hey, can I get this? And they're just like, what you want?
Yeah, just shit-faced bartender. Yeah. It's so weird. But, I mean...
I had one recently.
I've been to a wedding where the bartender was just out of their mind shit-faced. And I was like, this is fun.
Speaking of that, it was one of the 4 venues we were at this weekend.
Okay.
We closed down one of the bars, and I remember sitting there, and that was the night it was like the one night I did get crunked, which was funny because it was like out in the middle of nowhere, and was all hicks, and all the other comics were like, when we went to like dance clubs, downtowns, places, and stuff like that, they were all about it, and they were not about this. And
I sometimes get really comfortable when I'm around a bunch of drunk fucking rednecks.
yeah, so
I'm from
like
Florida,
for me,
so it's like,
yeah,
works
no,
out.
like for me, it was funny because I was around them. One of the comics sparked up a joint, and they're like, "You can't smoke that here." He's like, "It's legal." He's like, not right here. You will leave." Like, and he's like, "Oh, they're just joking." No, they were like super serious.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, and
Was it because it was a private?
just because it was weed.
They just didn't like weed.
Yeah, they were just not like.
But I mean, sometimes
it's funny because
OLCC
they're
rules.
yeah, no, this was like it was an after party. It was in a private facility.
That's so weird.
And they were baby bird, like moms were baby birding Fireball, like when they pour it into your mouth in front of their kids, and they're like, "Weed's wrong." And I'm like, "Mom in this condition in front of her kids also may be wrong."
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was there, but before all that happened, we were shutting down the venue. I was sitting there thinking, it's been a long time since I am more sober than the bartender. The bartender I was just like, she's like, "You want me to make you a drink?" And I was like, "No, I don't believe in your ability to understand what fractions are right now."
I was at a comedy venue a little while ago, and I pull up, and just out back of the place, there's a bunch of people fucking smoking weed and whatever. And then I go into the place later, and then I was like, "Oh, I recognize this bartender," and she's just like, "Hey." And I was like, "Okay, I'm pretty sure that like you're not allowed to look and smell like this, but
Right.
whatever. I don't care. I really don't."
I was at a
But it was
showcase
just
in
it was
Austin,
funny.
in the restroom waiting
Austin?
right before I had not a great experience there, but I was at a showcase and I was just watching it. I wasn't on it or anything.
You could just say I did a show in Austin.
Yeah, I did a show in Austin.
Hell yeah.
And I was at the showcase and I was just using the restroom. This dude with a mullet comes in. "Hey man, mind if I do some coke?" I was like, "I fucking don't care." I was like, "I don't care. I'm from Oregon. Like, the best thing about it being legal here is it's no longer in the restrooms." So he just goes and does a big old line, and then I walk out and sit back in my seat. It was the headliner.
Hell yeah.
He had lots of energy, though. Lots of energy.
Yeah.
He was going hard. And I was like, "Oh, okay."
He's got a long set.
It wasn't. Everybody had 10 minutes.
Oh.
It's one of those things where, like, that's an Austin thing where...
Headliner by draw. Okay.
Yeah, like, it's one of those things Austin, like, hey, there's 8 comics. We're giving them all 10.
Mm-hmm. That's weird.
Yeah, and you never really get...
But I mean, if they're
Especially when all of them only had 8 good minutes of material.
if they're getting a scoop of all the comics in Austin, hopefully all the comics that they're scooping from are great comics because it's fucking Austin, so you better be.
There's tons of comics.
There's tons of comics.
I wouldn't say they're the polar opposite of what you see in Portland. Like, it's okay to punch.
Are they fighting back?
It's okay to punch down. It's okay to.
I've heard that.
It's okay to do race jokes. Like the Tony Hinchcliffe thing that happened.
That wasn't even weird.
No, I
just-
saw at the same showcase.
Yeah. The guy.
I saw somebody walk a guy by using Asian racial slurs incessantly against that specific audience member. Like, it was like, and the thing is, I know the comedian. He's from Seattle.
Which one? Oh, the
The
comedian
one
that
that walked the guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's weird because it's somebody who would just get canceled directly out of Seattle that is coming to Austin to get rid of all their, like, the other side of their personality that isn't get just shown in Seattle. Like, I was not impressed, but I'm a nobody. I'd much rather, it's not my gig. I'm definitely a more Portland side of comedy comic.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to go up there and be
I think that you're like if you could move, if Austin was a 1 and Portland was a 10, I think you're probably right in like the 6.
yeah.
Because there's still some Austin on you.
Yeah. There's still the, like, I can go and hang out with the rednecks and be just fine.
I think I'm if Portland was I'm the other way because I'm like I have been pounded into dust so much that I feel like I have to be like a Portland comic, but
right.
then when I go do comedy, I just try to be I don't know, but I did comedy in Portland at like a house show recently, and it went really well, and I wasn't being a Portland comic at all, and it felt great. because I was
Right.
being so different from all these fucking idiots that are just like, oh man, I'm
Right.
I'm pansexual. I'm like, okay,
Right.
I
Yep.
mean, that's fine. I don't give it. That's fine. But when every comic is like, I fuck so much, I'm like, so
I love the other
How
side,
about-
which is like I love heckling that. I'm pansexual. Still suck at comedy though.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. There's a lot of identity first, comedy second. That's what Portland. That's what Portland is.
Yeah, that's Portland's funniest. Anyway, it's fun not ever being a part of Portland's funniest and just watching it.
So funny! Oh my god! I do a podcast with Kyle Adams, and he has stopped bringing it up. Also, he did. He's bummed about this year, but he stopped
yeah, I
bringing it
talked
up
about
because every time he'd bring it up, I'd be like, "Oh, how's that going? Who's?" Hi? And then I would feign like the most extreme excitement because in Salem and mostly outside Portland, everybody just looks at that and goes, like, wow, you guys are really dominating Facebook right now, and it's really annoying, and
Yeah.
we don't give a shit because you're just gonna that whole thing that where you're like,
It's such
I
a
need people to come
marketing-
I need people to Healy. I need people to come see my set, but then when they get their set, they just put it on Facebook. So then there's no reason for people to go watch
the
them.
The other thing that I think is
other
great.
than voting, Dan Weber should win because his joke is the best.
Dan Weber's joke is awesome.
It's great. So just everybody just go vote for Dan Weber or whatever. I don't think he's won yet. He needs to win. He's gonna die soon.
Rip Dan. No, like and it's funny because I think it's going to inspire somebody to say, "Fuck it, let's actually just." Portland can support like probably 3 or 4 comedy clubs, and they have one right now, and an amazing. They have one and an amazing park show that is apparently run by the Kickstand people.
Yeah, it is.
And that park
It's
show
amazing.
is
It's amazing.
it's better than any venue I've seen so far in Portland.
It's so fucking good. Holy shit, it's good.
Yeah, and so
Yeah, I was just there last Friday.
Did
and then
the
few
headliner
Fridays.
not make it last Friday?
No.
Oh, I feel sorry.
Gout.
Oh yeah. Give that guy some cherry juice. Come on.
Gout
Speaking
like a
of which,
mofo. He left a voicemail. So
that-
they played the voicemail in the very beginning. Of
that
like,
guy.
who's here for Kyle Kinane? And then the whole crowd goes, wah! And then he goes, well, he's not going to be here tonight. And then people go like, they start laughing as if he's joking. And then he goes, I mean, really, here's the voicemail he left me. And then they play the voicemail. He's like, it's Kyle. I got gout, beer, and shrimp.
Yeah. How do you be vegetarian and still have a?
He's a vegetarian?
Yeah, mostly. Yeah. How do you like? It's a thing. So how do you be vegetarian and still eat food so rich that your gout flares up? Other than other than light beer. And I want to give him. I want to talk shit to him because I know no famous comedians. I know one.
You know one?
And it's the only reason I know Kyle is because I offer him whatever service he needs for his van. Hey, man, do you know somebody who does this? I do. Mm-hmm. Actually, he has an issue right now with his electrical, and I know somebody who's just an absurd Kyle Kinane fan, who is just like savant level electrical and buses. I was like, dude, yeah, I'll get somebody. I'll get somebody to fix it for you free. He's like, how? And I was like, he might gush a little.
That's the payment, though.
Right, the payment is
That's totally fine.
Yeah, so yeah, it's funny for me. Like that's a relationship I have in comedy. Like the biggest one I have so far, and it's based solely on the fact I had a van. That's
Hey,
it.
that's fucking
I
great.
reached out to him. I was like, "Hey, I heard you got a van. Jake Silverman can vouch for me." And like a couple days later, I get a response back. Yeah, I don't need anything for the van, but do you know a place I can do a show in Salem? I was like, yeah, I know a place.
Sure do. There we go.
But yeah, so that dude's I love him because he's just 100% comedy, unless gout's involved.
Well, I mean, yeah. So the nobody felt. Also, I looked around the crowd, and not one person left. It was great.
Right. Well, that was a good lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, nobody blamed him because he would have had to walk
Yeah.
a decent amount to get to that spot. So
Right. Yeah.
it's totally
Yeah.
fine.
But I think that's a great. Like, I think you're 100% right on the Facebook dominance. I think one of the outcryings is, yeah, we don't need another big club.
Right.
I'd love a Chadwick's and Medford situation where a bar just becomes a club 2 nights a week. I would love somebody to make Olympian a club. Every Friday and Saturday we have a $20 show. Yeah. And I know Hijinks does it $5-10. I think Hijinks is what he's doing great. What they are doing is great. Dirty Angel. I just give me more. Give me consistent. Give me every week. People will show up and buy tickets. And Kelly's is a fun little fucking place.
I love Kelly's.
And that place you can do comedy there is perfect for a small comedy show. Like where they used it for the festival. It's great.
I did a Salem Takeover show there.
Yeah, I love the mics they have there, and Portland needs another comedy venue that is another they have a lot of shows, a lot of people we know run mics, and run showcases and whatever there, but they need a dedicated spot that doesn't just like have this incestual Portland comic feel.
Yeah,
that brings people who, like, I feel like a lot of the showcase mics, the only people showing up are other people in the community, in the comedy community.
Yeah.
I would love to see.
Yeah, and there's that, and there's just people that are kind of wandering in, which isn't that much, but with the PFP stuff, the funniest person, it's...
Hey, I got 10 tickets.
Yeah, 10 tickets, and then the club goes...
Right. Yeah.
Because those 10 tickets, those people are going to sit there for free, but then they're going to get an $8 drink and a $12 drink and a $25 piece of food.
And you never feel obliged to pay any of those comics anything because it was a free show.
Yeah, and hey, we're giving you tape.
And they do it every Tuesday and Thursday or Wednesday, like every slow day at the club for fucking 5 months.
Am I just digging myself out of possibility of playing Helium again? But
no, it's just
it's
just an interesting thing to break down what it is, and it's not even negative against it. It's just
and the funniest people do win.
Well, yeah, but if they make it to the semis.
Yeah.
I can look at every single one of those sets, those groups, and I'm like, there's one person in each one of those, and I'm like, they were the top 3. And
also, I keep seeing like people go like, here's the 3 finalists, and there's like 30 groups of 3 finalists, and so why don't they put like a fucking bracket breakdown so people can watch that happen?
Yeah, that would probably be good.
I would actually look at it then instead of be annoyed every time I see Portland's Funniest come up.
3 people like with their arms around each other, and one of them is obviously super awkward about the whole experience.
Yeah.
I get why, like, sometimes I don't think that the best made it, because I get to watch so much Portland comedy. Is the same reason that the Civic Smackdown we did. I had 3 great sets.
Insane.
And I'm not one of the good comics there, but will you give me 3 minutes? I'm the most comfortable of any of those people in 3 minutes.
Wasn't that great?
Because I'm just always doing 5 minutes. So you're just like, cut out the 2 that don't work and just do.
Exactly.
Like, I only got 3.
It was so fun. And then the last set where we were the losers.
Yeah.
So it nothing mattered. It was like for sure nothing mattered. I loved it so much because it's like, hey, you lost, so there's no chance that you'll win anything. So just go have fun.
The only problem
that's it.
I wish we had to that is I wish we would have recorded Zach's 3 minutes. His last
the last 3 minutes? Yeah. After his first set, it was Zach, just go hard. Zach, just drink as much as you can. Literally as much as you can.
And then when they cut you off, go across the street to the mini mart.
All of that happened. It was great.
We had one person on our team who can't read.
Thanks for joining us here on the Podchaost. Did you know that you can head over to our YouTube page and hit that subscribe button? You should. It helps. Here on the Podchaost, we like to have fun with our comedian friends. Whether that's playing video games, making stupid jokes, doing some stupid stunts, and just having some fun adventures along the way. The Podchaost. Check it out.
And it was the funniest, like, unintentional prop comedy I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah, because people were like, is she fucking around?
I know.
And it's like, oh, no. No, she can't read.
I was like,
especially what she writes.
We're at this point 3 hours and 45 minutes in to a show, which I hope to never again say in my life. And
4.5 hours
I just
show
did like
total.
I did my most offensive joke because that's all I had left at that point. Like I have, I'm still new. I have like 15 minutes max, and of that 15 minutes, 6 is van life stuff, unusable. Like it just doesn't translate to non-van life people.
That's true.
And
I can see that.
then the other 9 was like I used it all, every last one.
Yeah.
I just need a 1 write more and 2.
It was watching. It was funny watching people with not that much material just wring everything out
Yeah.
and go like, okay, this I only planned on doing 1 3-minute set. I didn't really understand how the structure was gonna go.
Yeah.
And then Ty's like, "Oh, you're going up again." And I was like, "Oh shit, let me scramble together 3 more minutes." That's fine. That's not too hard. And then he's like, "You're going up 1 more time." I'm like, "Oh shit. Okay, I'm pulling out some old shit."
Yeah, for me, it
ISIS open micer. Here we go.
like I have I have the thing where we're doing so I get 5 minutes because I can do decent 5 minutes now, but a lot of it is also running all the SoloWit stuff.
Okay.
I get 5 minutes other places where it's not SoloWit, but not nearly as much as I get SoloWit. So I'm very comfortable with about 10 minutes worth of material, but I'm doing something 5 nights a week at least. So last week I did 6. This week I'm doing 6. How many open mics do I get to go to if 6 nights a week I'm doing bingo, trivia, or setup for a show? Like that's the biggest.
Do you work in comedy?
I have
in your
to.
bingo and trivia.
I do. I have a new joke I'm doing about my son came out as bisexual, but I wanted to have a conversation about it, and it was like basically any woman that he has a great relationship with, or any hot guy. And I was like, well, I hate to tell you something, son. I guess I am too, because like Chris Hemsworth shows up. He's getting a blowjob.
Yeah.
Like even the ugly Hemsworth brother. Look him up. He's shorter. He's still hot.
Yeah. He's almost cheating. Because it's like, okay, yeah, well, like you're saying, we're all fucking bi if that's the case.
Right? Yeah. So I'm working on that joke and finding some taglines, and then I had another one of the one that I want it to be longer, and it's not. It's sneezing's 1 to 2% of an orgasm. I'm like 5 sneezes. 5 sneezes. I can't even say it right in the bus. And it's just a line, and it works, and it gets laughs, and then I interject it as it's a segue. I'll do a long story, a one-liner, and another long story, and that's just the one-liner. And if it fits the subject matter, the 2 other jokes, and both of those, what happens is they get vetted. Like my open mic material, when I do it now, has been vetted as funny by people who weren't there to laugh. So I'll do bingo. Like, you guys want to hear a joke? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. What is Beyond Burger and Pagan? Like, I pulled that out one time. And because I looked around the room and there's no kids. It wasn't supposed to be because it was at a growler place. And I looked around, quick look, no kids. So I was like, okay, I'll do a joke about pegging. And I look up and there was like a 19-year-old there with their father. And I was like, crap. And the funniest thing happened. He looks over and he asks her, what's pegging? And she starts to describe it to her old father. And I'm like, great. But I'll do like stuff like that.
See him sit up straight. Oh, okay.
I do, yeah, so mom's birthday. No, so I do stuff like that. And then if it does work, I do get some laughs. There's been a ton of things that just don't work. So I just move on.
Yeah.
If it gets some laughs, I will work it into my next once a month or once or whatever. Open mic. I'm trying to do Sundays. I'll do the 2 open mics on Sundays with the material that I worked for that week. I have to, because there's no other way I can get. And open mics are so important.
What are you hitting on Sunday?
Kelly's, and then what's the late night one on Sunday? And Mandolin Deal does Pizza Schmiza.
Oh,
and then Kelly's is a like thing. Yeah, so I'll just go up there.
Kelly's is early, Schmitz is later, right?
Yeah.
There's just the 2?
Isn't there
Do you
one?
ever go on Tuesdays?
Isn't there the golf one too?
Oh, is the Trails End?
Is that on Sunday? I don't know that day.
Ooh, that might be Mondays.
So I know because.
But yeah, no, that's good if you can hit.
Tuesdays is Common Fields. Every day, every week now.
And that's
it's one of the
bingo and trivia.
It's trivia and comedy.
Oh yeah,
they are one of our largest accounts now.
Is Brew every Tuesday?
Brew is just starting to be every Tuesday. We'll see if they take off.
Cool.
Yeah, so they do that here. I go to trivia there.
I saw he's got T-Mac running that.
What?
Tim.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
Maybe he was just doing tryouts.
Yeah, just I don't know. It's the thing is that stuff. Like some communities, like I won't do that. I was like, it's money.
Mm-hmm.
It's money. It's mic time.
We're hooers. We are hooers.
Not even that. It's mic time. Like
I
you were telling me some things you were doing in bingo, and I was like, I need to do like those are good things. Like I just have sayings for like B3PO and like just stupid numbers. I'm like B12, the best B vitamin.
Here's one my daughter knows how to do. B9.
Stuff like that. But
yeah.
like it's just it's one of the things it's teaching me is even if you're up there performing or doing something, keep a keen eye on the audience at the all time.
Oh yeah.
Try to get facial expressions or body language or whatever you can off the people. And so that's
I can't stop being.
Those are skills that
I'm not
I
a
need,
bingo caller. I'm a comedian doing bingo.
right?
And so
Which is completely.
it's fun
But you
to
know what
work
that
on
is? That's whatever the bingo payout is, plus you doing it for an hour, being on in front of people for an hour. So the next, like if you're on in front of people I'm on in front of people right now 6 hours a week.
That's
on
cool.
a mic in front of 12 to 150 people, just having to say and do the right things. Is that comedy? No. And it kills because I can't write as much as I want to. But is it comedy? Yes. Because when I get up on a mic, there's like people, are you nervous? I have to get nervous now to get on a mic. Yeah. And Ty and I were talking about that. Like one of the things that I run is Ty is his self, and he's high strung, and he gets real wound up before a show. And so I'm doing this, the plugging into the mics.
Damn it! And then as soon as he fucking gets on a microphone, he just nails it.
10 years of being a professional actor.
Yeah.
Come through. My favorite bit he does is when he sticks his hand down his pants and then talks to people.
What?
Have you the cigarette one? Where he pulls a cigarette out. You've seen this one.
No.
Okay, so was it?
I try not to watch Ty do comedy.
It's at the end of set. It's one of those things because it's like the acting. I've seen it so much. The acting is subtle, but it's very good, and that's just what you're bringing to the stage.
Yeah.
Like for me, I go up there and I'm just not. I've just like my mind's been like, do we got all the sound set up? Is like whatever the ticket's doing good? All that stuff is in my head, and then oh yeah, you got to go on. I did the show in Medford. 8 people walked in the door while the host was up. I'm going first. I'm paying my mind's like money, ticket. Get your stamp. Get this person who's going to sit you down. All that stuff's running through my brain.
Are you the person seating them?
No, someone else
Are
was
you
seating
making
them.
tickets? Or are you just
I
watching?
was doing tickets because
Okay.
we were down a person, and then I hear coming up to the stage next. I had to go from that, which is being nice, being friendly, to 8. It was 8 college girls walked in. That to going on stage, and that that set wasn't great because I needed that 3. I need like 3 minutes to lie to myself and get stressed out because I'm so relaxed that I need to be like. If you saw me before the comedy thing, I was pacing. I was like almost buzzed with energy.
Yeah, that's everybody.
But it's for me. I'll go up there and I'm like, so yeah, let's do this. And then if I'm not buzzed with energy and I miss a transition, because I'm still new enough where I miss a transition in my set, I'm just like, it's just because I'm tired and don't care. And you don't want to say that on stage,
right?
So I need to get amped up. Yeah, so that's what I learned because I've spent like you did it the other day. You spend, hey man, how's it going? B8. We have a winner, yay! I need to do I'm getting better at that, but I had it because I did.
It's fun because everybody say there's a character sheet or whatever you want to call it, and it's just comedian, and everybody has there's all these skills that you need to be a comedian, and you got those 5 punched out, and sweet, that works for you. I got these 5 punched out for me. Ty's got 6 or 7, which is fucking stupid. And then there's people like Jake who has 9 out of 10, and then he's just the only thing he needs is to be over there. That's it. Jake Silberman, if he wasn't in fucking Portland and he was in New York or L.A. or something, it would work for him. I think that he'd just
thank
be
you, pandemic.
fucking nailing it. Yeah, I don't know where he is right now.
He's supposed to be here later this week to build his van.
Hell yeah,
Yeah, so
hell yeah.
we'll
That's
see.
awesome.
He's here now. He just got back
in Oregon.
but yeah, he's the other person to help on vans.
Okay, so when you take your nap, you get your show stuff done.
Yeah.
You get home from your night job, which is calling bingo, doing comedy.
Yeah.
So tonight, when you get home after tonight, which
Yeah.
is going to be around midnight, what is your way to get going to bed? Like, so
I
you
can
get
turn
to bed
off
around.
yeah. People hate me. I can turn off in an instant.
Dude,
I just
bam, and I'm done.
I get home
and I can fall asleep in about 5 minutes.
I get home, Slay's in bed. The dogs don't flip out anymore when I get home, which is nice. And then I'll just crawl into bed, pass out. And it's funny because Slay also gets mad at me because she needs about 9 hours of sleep. I need about 6. It'll do me. 7's perfect. But yeah, I'll do like 3 days a week where I'd get 6. And she's like, "Why aren't you sleeping in?" Because man, like
I can go do some shit.
I need to do the work to not have to have a job.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I'm going to do. Like it's valuable to me to do that. I'll never make as much as I made doing the other thing. I used to make $60 to $70 an hour,
Mm-hmm.
which is stupid to me because I'm not worth more than like Bernie. I'm not even worth 15, man. Like, thanks for your vote of support. It's as good as your candidacy. But it's like I'm never like I'd rather not do it. I don't have to support kids now. My youngest is 17.
Yeah, not having a job is the goal.
Yeah, and I did come off those incomes, so I do have some saved up. And it's funny because I take interviews now for jobs. Like, well, what have you been doing the last 4 months? And I was like, it's called like living, man. Like, it's easy to tell them. I was like, for 3 months I was on a van tour.
Mm-hmm.
I just drove around the country. I'm like, oh, that's amazing. And I was like, and I have this thing called like savings, and I don't spend.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm fine. They're like, you should want to get another job. And I was like, like that's the thing about America. We should want to get a job. No, we're good. Like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't need to. I don't have to.
I've been telling so many people, and it's just that's my goal. Is like, oh no, I'd really rather not have a job.
Yeah.
And then there's people that I tell that to, and they're like, what do you mean? You don't have that option? I'm like, oh no, that's my goal. I really want to find a bunch of ways to just bring money in and not go to work.
We split expenses here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also pay for the domestic partner health insurance, which I'll say because it's in my act. I do a friendship with a girlfriend with benefits.
Okay.
Bit, which is about like
Domestic partner health insurance.
Yeah, like thank you the gays. You did it in the 90s when they wouldn't let you marry. They had this thing called domestic partnership. It's hardly ever done anymore because you can just get married. But if you live together for more than a year or 2 years, and you are on each other's beneficiaries
Mm-hmm.
for at least one thing, you can become domestic partners. And the benefit is I can get under her health insurance,
Mm-hmm.
but I have to pay all the related tax with it because they give her more money now because that's how the state works.
Okay.
And so I pay like $400 a month for the health insurance. A little less than that. It's the nicest health insurance you get for the state. Literally $5 copays, which I've never had before. I didn't know those existed, but yeah. So I pay for that, and then I don't have a car payment anymore. Buses are cheap to insure. I have a phone and nothing else. Like, I just try not to have any expenses.
Do you want to know how much my health insurance is?
How much?
$1.47 a month.
Yeah, I've been on that.
I don't use it because I have it so that the state doesn't charge me for not having health insurance.
Yeah. And you're not going to because it's like a high.
Yeah,
my first professional job
was. I got told to go to the doctor because I fell and I bruised my rib. I was like, go to the doctor. You have health insurance now. Like, no, I don't have $500.
Right, and if I did, I'd go to Mexico, get it fixed, and have a vacation.
Yeah, and I just hit it with a hammer real quick.
But it's
Or I'm sure they have civilized people in medicine in Mexico.
They do.
That's
It's
what I
super cheap.
hear.
It's super cheap, dude.
That
It's
there's
great.
people that don't, walk around on dirt floors now.
It's you don't knock it. It's
I've never been to Mexico. I hear it's great.
it's
I
it's
think
apparent.
It's beautiful.
It's apparent.
When I was
Lots of people in the van life community will go down to the border in the winter, but then that's also the time they do their health insurance. Because there's a bunch of known doctors in the van life community and dentists. You go down there, you get you get your glasses, your teeth done. If you have any ailments, they look at them, and it's cheaper than ever doing it here. Like it's cheaper than the copays you have. Not the copays I have, but yeah.
Well, that's isn't there a comedian who got Botox in Salem illegally? In Portland? She just lost a bunch of weight.
Okay. Yeah, that wasn't in the group of people that I was thinking of. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, you can
I think that's what happened because she said I got Botox illegally, actually in Salem.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's been set on stage. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, like, there's a market for it. There's a market because there used to be a Russian dentist in a apartment complex here in town, and he rented an apartment just to do dental work, under the table. Because the Russians were like, we're not going to pay your stupid dental fees, which are stupid. They're just dumb. Like, you need $1,000 for your face. You're like, I don't have $1,000 for my house, and I need it for my face. I'm good.
Call him the Russian Orthodoxist.
Orthodox. Trying to do okay. So then I'll go out and stay late, and then I will come home and crash. And that's like my day. My day is,
dude.
There's barely any rest.
I can crash like that too.
Yeah.
I can fall asleep if I feel like it, and I can just do it like that. I don't care if I have just been angry, sad, excited. I can drink a Rockstar and fall asleep within 2 minutes. I did that last night.
I can do that if I'm tired. If I'm well rested and I drink a Rockstar at 5 p.m., then my body's like, nah, you're well rested, man. Like I
might have been tired, but yeah, it just worked. But
if I drink a Rockstar, if I'm tired, I can go to sleep. If I'm not tired, like during the day, and I just want one just for whatever, then at the end, then at like 11, my brain's like, nah, we're still. It's weird. Like sometimes it fucks me up, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
But like yesterday, I hit 2 Mountain Dews like after 8 p.m. and it didn't. It wasn't like that. Didn't. I just gotten off 96 hours of traveling in a van and doing all the driving for 5 people. I was, I had a great time. Next time I won't. There's no reason it needs to be like 4 is the max. 3 is.
No, it was in this.
No, this doesn't have air conditioning. It was in the minivan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my fuel efficient Toyota Sienna, which also was like that. So when I sold the van, I bought that too.
Yeah,
but it's weird for me to like own all this crap, and not have to pay monthly payments on it. That yellow one, I could sell it for as much as I have into it. Today probably. And
You should just put it on the market for like 3 times its worth,
and then just see what happens.
Yeah. Some rich guy comes through. He's like, yeah, you know what?
Yeah, my kid wants one of those. Yeah, like I'll get it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, just don't drive it because it shoots fuel onto the engine while it's hot.
As is, will not last, will explode.
Right. 20 grand. That's pretty much the bus market right now, though. Like the bus market is stupidity. It's funny to me. I had a friend.
Stupidity because it's cheap or it's not reliable or what's the stupid part?
Frenzy for people with too much money to get into. Because the thing that
so it's like an impulse buy. Like, oh shit.
The thing that comes out is and there's a guy in Oak Ridge, the guy who sang that song, who just rebuilds buses and has a huge, he's a very large following. And he basically sums it up. It's a vibe. There's a whole short bus vibe. And damn it, if it's not true, people want to get into it. I have a friend who I helped out in New Mexico, great lady. She had a, quite frankly, piece of shit short bus. She wanted to get out of it. it was a certain Chevy that is like some of these things don't work. Some of these buses don't work.
Okay.
They have issues. They have bad engines or whatever. She had one of those. She had to put like a bunch of money into the engine. Really janky build in it.
Mm-hmm.
Listed it for $28,000. Like a couple of years ago, it would have been $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
Listed it for $28,000. Got just a couple hits, nothing big. Someone offered her like 22 or 21 here in Seattle, and some lady in DC said, "I'll give you 28 cash." She got in that bus.
Mm-hmm.
We all made bets on how far she would make it. Not if she would make it, but just how far she would make it.
Everybody's saying it's not going to make it.
It's not going to make it. She had to stop at a Home Depot in the middle of nowhere because the door flew off. Because it had an aftermarket made door, not like these.
Okay.
And she had to put the door back on. Got it there, got the money, and the lady said, "Yeah, just park it in the parking garage. These don't fit in parking garages." She's like, "Got your first piece of information you need to know about bus life. Thank you for the money, first of all. Second of all, it's never going to fit in a parking garage."
Mm-hmm. Everything that says low clearance, you're not going there.
Yeah, that's why I have the scooter. When I go downtown Portland, I park a ways out and scoot in. Okay. Because it just
good call.
It doesn't. This thing doesn't go in towns. It doesn't go downtown anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
The van was the same way. The van's too tall to go in any parking garages.
Yeah.
But like, how did she get $28,000?
Same thing. Same thing right there.
Yeah. I got
put it on the market, and somebody was like,
Yeah.
All right. I have a shitload of too much money.
I never put my van on the market. I had one post on Facebook. Hey, anybody want a van? That's all I ever did.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to get 10 grand more if I had to go through all the hard stuff and put it on the market, get a professional shoot, all that. But I was like, someone just like, nah, I'll send you the money. Okay. Like, it was worth it to just not have to stress. Like, I didn't stress at all.
Yeah. That's great.
I would, if you told me 2 years ago that I would be here today, I would just be like, what the fuck? How?
You mean I don't have my job anymore?
No, that was the most plausible part of that whole thing, is me not having a job.
That was funny when you and Curtis both, or Curtis maybe started just before you.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, that guy works with me.
Yeah, it was
that guy works at my work, but we don't talk.
Yeah, it was. We were that facility had like 5,000 people in it,
mm-hmm.
and we were literally complete opposite sides.
Stuff, right?
Like, we were not only like 900 yards away from each other, we were complete opposite sides of the complex, and then one day just ran into each other, and he was like, "Hey, Leroy." I was like, "No." I was like, I introduced myself.
Not here.
I introduced him like, so I didn't know him. I was like, yeah, my name's so-and-so. I work over here. I do this. And his face was just like, because you guys had this like thing when I first came on that I was just like an Uber driver or something. And like, no one knew what I did.
Oh, yeah, because you were an Uber driver.
Yeah, I did that for fun. It was just it was just to talk to people and get money to go to, it doesn't take many
Beer
Uber
money.
trips to afford drinks at Den.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just do that, and I would not spend my income money. I would just use Uber money for stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And so I saw him, and it was funny because, we just did the same thing. And then like both of us, neither one of us work there now. I took a almost double pay raise when I went to Portland, even though that job was horrible. I didn't care. Like, I made it like
Horace, man.
Yeah, no, yeah. Like, I'm a prostitute for
Give me the money.
Right. Do I love bingo? No. Is it great money? Yeah. Yeah.
Weird thing is, I fucking love it. It's
Yeah.
so much fun.
And that's the funny thing is because the guys who do trivia's all right money. They're just like, okay, whatever. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I love it. I love the questions. I love sitting there looking at 100 people saying, can I have better questions than you guys have knowledge? That to me is delicious.
Mm-hmm. It's really fun. And then you get people like, oh, they get pissed off that they didn't get it and that you have the answer.
Right. Or my favorite is I did one last night where it was the Road Warriors, and one of the
Mm-hmm.
answers is Golden State Warriors, but it's worded in a way that, and I was like, the name of the freaking round has Warriors in the name.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for the team that's called the Warriors. This should be super basic. And so I did it. Nobody got it. But then when I was doing the answers, and I was like, the answer's the Golden State Warriors, and everyone's like, son of a. And that to me is delicious. Like, just the.
Like, it was right there.
Yeah.
It's like when you tell a joke and a comedian does that same reaction.
Right.
You're like, ah,
Right.
yes, that's how I know this is good.
Right. Or for
That's
me,
great.
it's like I do that thing where I like, guys, I'm going to tell dad jokes. And then I just, like, all my dad jokes aren't dad jokes. They're just, like, tags on the end that you're just like, like, and I'm like, yep, those are them.
Yep.
So that for me is that. But, like, bingo is different. It's a different community that I don't ever, like, hang out with. So it's, like, I've had to learn the culture.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny that you say that you love it, because it's one of those things that I could see that. Like, it's that I could see your dry, like, sort yourself really, like, excelling in that.
Yeah,
And
well, I kind of really pushed on the gas with the whole, like, presentation part of it. Like, when I host, I'm a little bit different than when I am performing, like, jokes. But I mean, yesterday, or when I did bingo, there was a kid who was coming up, and I had the microphone just like this, and he was digging through the thing, and I was like, you didn't win anything, so just make sure you're not stealing any of that stuff. And then he picked something up, he put it in his mouth and put it back. I was like, did you just seriously put that in your mouth? What's wrong with you? Where are your parents? And then some guy, like, peeked around, and I was like, your kid's putting stuff in his mouth. It's disgusting. Don't you know that, like, here, go back to your dad. And the kid was like 10, older than my kid, and it was just like, dude, this is.
Oh, that's.
But then
great.
I did he was kind of walking back, and I was like, oh, whoops, there's a microphone in my face, and then everybody laughed, and I was like, okay, cool, okay.
It's those like, I can see that you're good at that. Like, for me, it's just I've had to learn that, like, those old biddies like their show.
Mm-hmm.
They like the tension, like, build the tension. Like, that's what it teaches me. Is I don't do a lot of tension jokes. I just do, like, misdirection, where I just let set up, just dry misdirection. And so the tension is like, I need, like, it teaches me that, no, build this. Like, every time you pull a number, it should be just talk about the tension, bring it up, make everybody on edge, so that when one person yells, when one person yells bingo, you want everyone else to feel cheated, to feel robbed, and to, like, just say, oh.
Well, there's supposed to be 3 bingos per round. There were some that I'd be like, I don't even remember how many we have. So I think that was 1, and people were like, no, we should be on 1 more. And I was like, no, I think we're just starting. So I could just go again and be like, the whole board would almost be filled up. And I'd be like, oh shit,
no,
we had
you
another
did
one?
it. You did it different. I do 3.
great.
I do 3 separate games per round.
I do, yeah. There's
So
bingo, and then we clear it.
No, I did bingo, clear it, bingo, clear it. Yeah, because they feel like they're getting more money. Well, because I sell. You don't sell.
Yeah, no.
Like,
I'm just like, get it, fucking.
Yeah,
You guys take as much of this shit as you want, and then at the end, I was like, okay, the owner's not here anymore. I said this. I was like, the owner's not here anymore. He's sitting right there in the middle. And if nobody's paying attention, every kid stand up and just come get a prize right now. And so they all did. It was great.
So it's a weird thing, and it's weird when in other venues, but it's. How else are you going to learn that? Like, if you're natural for it, great. But, like, if you go to trivia and you're not natural for it, it will make you better.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's the thing about comedy.
And it might transfer back over, and it does cross over.
There's
both
skills
ways.
for your delivery stuff that make you a better comedian.
Yeah. People are like, I don't want to do comedy in front of kids. Well, if you have another job where you're going to be doing something on a microphone in front of kids,
Right.
it helps a lot.
Right, and then
you know what to and what not to say.
Yeah, and if you really, like, hey, I've done a ton of stuff in front of 10-year-olds. I know what I can do in front of 10-year-olds. Yeah. That's universally funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's, I hate reading the rules. You'll laugh at this. I hate reading the rules. It's dumb to me. We did it at this one location, and Ty's like, you're going to read the rules. I was like, oh, fuck, okay, whatever. One, I don't believe in fake energy.
It's hard.
And I don't believe in, and it was like a all ages kind of show. And I was like, listen, there's going to be adult themes. So kids, if you're at that point where you got hormones running through your body, you have a lot of questions, probably okay for you. Less than that, not okay for you. Like, parents, like, you make this decision, kids make this decision. But what they saw, because Ty and Cameron don't ever look at things not their way. They saw some guys like some dude went up there looking like you, talking about, "Hey kids," and Ty goes,
Hey kids, you got boners?
Yeah, more or less, like almost
Yeah.
like that. That's what they said, and it was funny because Ty's like, "Dude, you were so bad. I'm never gonna let you do the rules again." And I looked at him. I said, "Then I did the rules exactly how I wanted to." And he looks at me and he's like,
You son of a bitch.
"All right, yeah." So there's how that worked out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, now but then I think we do the rules wrong
Put
way.
Cameron in the rule. Put Cameron.
I think the
Have him
host
do
should
that.
do the rules. The host, like, you just go
Yeah.
up and you go, "Hey guys, you want some comedy? All right, bring up first your host, Chad Johnson." And then Chad Johnson says, "First, let me get the rules out of the way. This, and this. You ready for some jokes?"
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing is, when I go up there to do rules, they don't know if they're jokes or not. They don't know if I'm the host or not.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
just
you gotta have someone. I mean, you don't have to, but it does help quite a bit. Just to have
but it
someone
should
say,
be super.
Here's your host for the evening. Just instead of just like picking up the microphone and be like, "Hey everybody, I will be your host." It's
Yeah, so we've been like,
different.
it's one of the things we have to do as production people is try to figure out the best way to do that.
Mhm.
And I think so. One of the comedians this week came up with that, and I think it's good. Is just like, "Hey, you guys ready for your host? You guys ready for some comedy? All right, give it up for Chad Johnson."
Mm-hmm.
Chad Johnson, "All right, I'm your host this evening. First off, I need to get some rules out the way."
Mm-hmm. You guys got boners?
Right? Yeah. And then you're like, "Okay, you guys ready for some jokes?" And then people are ready because otherwise they don't know. Should I laugh at this dude? I go up there with I had my hair out and it was humid, and I had my hair out for the rules, and I was like cussing it. It was just in my face.
Oh yeah, it's not hair down; it's hair out.
And for me, yeah. And so then I put this visor on sometimes. It goes good with the disc golf joke,
Mm-hmm.
just to keep all that's there for is to keep the hair out of my face,
Mhm.
but still make my hair look huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that's all it's there for. And it's weird that we're talking about uniforms. I go up there almost always with my hair out because if you're gonna have hair like this, it should be out.
Yeah. Well, and it does help.
And I'm trying to figure
For appearance.
out like some of but the problem is it gives me appearances sometimes not the subject matter of my jokes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to write a little bit more to my appearance as well lately.
Yeah, it's a fun hard turn when you look like you do, and you're like, "Dad, I'm a dad. Here's my dad stuff." And
Yeah,
you're like, "Here's my cock."
Right, yeah, you're like, yeah.
I've got disgusting stuff to say too. And people are like, oh god.
Right, yeah, like you're like when I try to say like, "Hey, so I did like that towel joke."
Yeah.
It takes 5 minutes to convince the people, and it takes 5 minutes of me giving them straight sex-based facts almost that have jokes with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is what this is. This is what that is. Did you know this? I do that cervix joke. I do all these jokes, and they finally get to the point where like this guy seems like he actually does know some stuff. And then I throw the punchline with a towel, and I walk off, and it was like, he just did 5 minutes of setup and trust to just
So hopefully when he throws in the towel, then that's when it's going to work.
Then it works. And yeah, so I want to do a new joke where the premise is I am a coach for like I feel like once we get weed clubs, we should have weed coaches. You know, like I go to the workout club and there's a coach there like, "You can do it. Go harder."
Mm-hmm.
Like, "Chad, you really seem you're like a Durban poison day. Your Durban poison levels are low. Can you just go hit some Durban poison? Come back and we're gonna check you out. We're gonna make sure you're. I feel like your weed's a little off right now. Like your high's a little off right now. Let's get you where you need to be." Try to do this concept. Try to build a concept where I'm just like a high energy coach for weed.
I like that. One note: stay away from Durban poison. Don't say that. Say a different strain.
I know because Jaron uses Durban poison
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I get the thing.
and Girl Scout cookies and Cinex. But like,
Don't say Girl Scout cookies. That's mine.
for weed,
No.
not
at all.
Girl Scout cookies. They're
I just say Girl
They're,
Scouts.
they're
and-
ubiquitous.
Yeah, and then
I had a joke where I told because I used Brent, like I just used Brent as a punchline.
Mhm. Look at him.
No, I just used Brent like because it worked and it worked for the whole reasons that he has his jokes.
Mm-hmm.
I never touch those. I just say Brent, and it works because it works. I fucked up one night and I used it when he was coming up.
Oh, he hadn't already been up?
No, I didn't snap to the fact that he was like there and it was going up as a feature, and I was like, yeah. So Brent said this, and I was like, I needed to change the name.
I see what you're saying.
Because then he goes up and goes
I
all
hate-
his Brent material.
I hate that my name is Chad sometimes, especially at comedy shows, because people are like, "Oh, there's a real Chad vibe in here."
Right? Yeah.
And then I usually, if I am like within eyesight of the comedian, I will go like this and I'll wave like, "Hi, I'm a comedian who's also on this fucking show later."
Right. Yeah.
So
and
yeah,
that's
same
like
thing.
that was a learning experience to me. Is like make sure that. Yeah, like I still use Brent when he's not there, because Brent still works for that. But it's like people who use like the word Kyle or like Brent uses Kyle.
So does Kyle.
Right. Try to one night.
He was
Spit
at a
it
park
out.
show and he goes, he said something like, "There's a bunch of Kyles and Chads here, kind of like here," and he was just pointing at himself and me. So, yeah, that one works.
Yeah, that's better. But yeah, like that's the comedy for the moment. But yeah, there's so much I have to learn for that kind of stuff, like what not to do.
There's a lot more that we could learn. That's what not to do from Leroy here,
True
but
facts.
we are going to call this podcast. It's been fantastic. Thank you very much, Leroy, for coming on here with me. How day you do with Leroy? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There we go. Just wanted you to say thanks also.
Thanks also.
Bye, everybody.